beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
I gotta get a witness. No!
Say, man, you got a joint? No, not on me, man.
I don't have facts to back this up.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
That's true. Sometimes I cry.
Oh! Lick my butthole, he laughed.
From the strangest corners of the internet, here to bring you opinions of the world from an altered perspective. Here are your hosts, the Drunken Peasants.
Hey everybody, welcome. Drunken Peasants Podcast, episode 1054. Doing it live, 1054. We got Scott, we got Dylan Burns, and Mr. Jeff Holiday will be joining us in like 45 minutes or so.
45
What's
minutes.
he doing that's so goddamn important?
His own stream.
Fuck
But
off,
Dylan's
Jeff.
doing his own
We're
stream
gonna
and
have a
he's
word
here.
When you get here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dylan's got his shit together.
Yeah. When Jeff gets here, Scott, we gotta pummel him.
We're gonna give him the business.
We'll give him the biz.
So, Dylan, when did you get back from Europe? Looks like you're back now. Is he frozen? Is he gone?
He's muted.
He's playing
Unmute
possum.
Dylan.
No, I'm unmuted now.
Oh, okay, all
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yes.
Fantastic. Okay, I look a little frozen. But
Yeah, that's very strange. Yeah, I'll fix it.
I don't know why I've been frozen.
I was frozen today.
So I'm actually not back. I'm still
Oh, you're
in
not?
Ukraine. Yeah, no. I'm still in Ukraine.
Damn.
Yeah, you look like you're in an Eastern European.
Damn, they
His
have
apartment.
rooms in Ukraine? That's
They have a
sick.
few. I was able to find one.
There's a few
Hold on.
left.
There's a few left, yes. I found one of them. It's very nice. Yeah, I'm in the Key of Oblast. It was pretty weird starting up stream today because there's like in the Key of Oblast right now, the checkpoints have gotten crazy because there's rumors of saboteurs in the area, and so we have to be very careful about like not having lights on. So and there was we don't really know exactly what was going outside our house when I was starting up stream, and so during the start of stream, there's people walking into my room and like saying to me like, "Hey, so if something happens, just like run to the basement quick," because we don't know exactly what was going on outside. So we've actually boarded up the windows so we can have the lights on, so we have some decent lighting, because we can't have light shining out of the windows right now.
Oh, yeah, it's like the black curtains in London during the Second World War, basically.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were in Poland at first for a little while, and then you just kind of ended up over there?
Yeah, I just kind of memed and creamed and arrived in Ukraine,
Yeah.
happens.
Was that your end goal to get
I did want to go into Ukraine. It depended on, of course, like a lot of safety protocol. Like if it was safe, then I would go. If it wasn't safe, then I wouldn't go. It ended up being safe enough for me to go, so I went into Ukraine. I started reporting from there, streaming from there, until eventually I was able to get some good access along the front lines and embed with some troops, record that, and yeah, I've been in Ukraine for I think 2 months now, writing articles and videotaping and interviewing people.
Yeah, I've seen some news stories recently about a few Americans that are in jail in Russia now. Is that a concern that you could be arrested by Russians over there, or no?
I don't know exactly how I would be arrested by Russians since I'm in Ukrainian-controlled territory.
Okay.
I think it would be, let's say I'm in a location like the Donbass and it gets encircled. Then that becomes a concern.
Yeah.
If I'm in an area that's under threat of encirclement or is under threat of being overtaken by the Russians, and due to Russian strategy, which is heavily reliant on artillery, it's very hard to actually run away because they fire upon convoys that are leaving certain occupied areas. And so a lot of times you have to decide, am I going to make a run for it and possibly blow up, or am I going to stay in this like hidey hole and get captured by the Russians?
Is it mentally taxing, or are you pretty safe enough where you're not stressing out all the time?
I mean, it depends. Some weeks are harder than others. When I was in Zaporozhye, it was probably one of the weirdest times because I went to the front line with Ukrainian troops in Zaporozhye. I got about 1 mile from Russian soldiers. So a lot of the stuff that happened there Obviously, a lot of the scenery I saw, the people I talked to, and hearing what they've gone through. I would say it's like mentally taxing.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest experiences was when me and a few others, when we were embedded with Ukrainian troops, we were spotted by a Russian drone. And you could actually hear the drone. You could hear the buzzing of the drone. And we all had to run into the forest and hide because we didn't know if it was a suicide drone. The drone most likely was spotting for artillery. And after it spotted us, very shortly after, we heard the artillery get closer and closer. And so we had to, make some decisions to like get out of there. And the experiences like that obviously like have some amount of an impact, but I also feel weird complaining about it because at any point I can get in a plane and I can leave after crossing the border back into Poland.
Now, why doesn't everyone do that? Has that idea been put forward?
I think actually more Ukrainians coming back into Ukraine now than leaving.
Oh, that seems like a poor idea.
It seems like a great idea.
Okay.
I think that they believe in the government, that there was a lot of fear that the Russians were going to basically, and this is how everybody thought it was going to go. The Russians are going to steamroll the whole country. They're going to take Kiev, they're going to take Sumy, Chernihiv, Kharkiv, they're going to take Odessa, and they're going to steamroll the whole country. Well, obviously, that's not what happened. And so a lot of Ukrainians are in territory that hasn't been captured by the Russians. And so they've made the decision, like, look, I've been gone for like 5 months now. I think it's safe for me to return home and try to salvage whatever is left of my old life. Or I want to go back and I want to support Ukraine by either supporting its economy, which is, of course, on the ropes because it's been invaded, by joining the military, joining aid organizations. There are more people re-entering Ukraine than leaving at this point because I think they have confidence in the government, a lot more confidence than at the start.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been watching Paddington 2 over there?
I have not seen Paddington 2 while over here. You know what sucks, man? Being over here and all the stuff that's not available to Ukrainians in comparison to what's available as Americans when it comes to like streaming services.
Yeah.
I can't access so many different streaming services. I can't watch.
Do they have
wrestling.
Voodoo? Do they have Tubi? Do they have Quibi? What do they have over there?
You've got pirating.
Excellent. Some of my favorite.
So you have theft. I think that's what you have. You have theft.
So
you know what? We have theft over here too. I find this very relatable.
Zielinski, he's like an actor, right? Is there like one streaming service that has all his stuff on it that he like gives the people at least?
That'd be awesome. Wouldn't it be incredible if every night, like to boost morale, he did what's it called? Improv. He does like an improv show.
Yeah, he does.
With Ukrainian soldiers.
He should do the piano.
Something good.
He should do the piano thing again. Have you seen the piano video of Zielinski?
Oh yeah, with the penis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Him and the other two
took out
guys.
his penis and played the piano. Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
He should do that with the national anthem. It'd be a real patriotic moment.
So, out of all this footage that you're getting, you're planning like a full-length documentary film?
Oh, I'm planning a little bit more than that at this point because I've gotten probably like, what is that? Like 90 hours, 100 hours of footage now, and I think I could make a documentary out of it currently. But I want to get more footage. I want to get more in-depth footage. And so I'm trying to arrange more stuff. I'm trying to set up more stuff. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to release multiple videos, like detailing a lot of the stuff we've done. Like one video that's in production right now that I've been trying to get released for a while, but it just, security clearance stuff takes time because we have to send this to people to get cleared to make sure we're not giving up Ukrainian military positions or anything like super valuable because we don't want to be one of those like Redditors who post like a selfie that gets 20 people killed.
Yeah.
Right? But we don't want to be that. So we got to get stuff. Exactly. We got to get stuff cleared.
I'm never going to do that again. I learned my lesson.
I'm happy to hear it. Very happy to hear it.
Fool me once.
Fool me once. Shame on me. Fool me twice. Shame on you.
Can't get fooled again.
So we got to get it cleared. So it's taking longer than we want, but there's footage of us on the front line, footage of us going to locations like Bucha, footage of us interviewing aid organizations that are building houses for refugees, interviews with Polish government officials, and like a lot of I think some pretty cool stuff.
Man, that seems like it would take a lot of time to edit and go through all that footage and find what goes into it.
Oh, that's most documentaries.
Oh, yeah.
Let alone this.
I've been trying to get this stuff out as quickly as possible, but it's just taking so much time. It's a very weird feeling because I want to show people what exactly I saw, right?
Yeah.
Because the footage that I'm trying to rush out as soon as possible is footage of me on the front line with Ukrainian soldiers, and in that footage we get spotted by Russian drones. At one point we were 1 mile from Russian positions, and the footage we get there is honestly incredible, and we got a lot of access that a lot of mainstream news publications don't get, and we did it through building relationships on the ground with people who knew people who was able to convince them to take us on, and I want to show people the footage because I think there's a lot of 6-minute CNN pieces because they're the people who get access to war zones. It's not people like me. What I'm thinking is I want to release an hour-long video just showing yo, here's the trenches, here's the food they eat. Oh, you hear that in the distance? That's artillery. I think that one's a missile. There's a live missile that didn't go off. It's live. It might blow up at any time. We have no clue. All the stuff like that, which you don't really get to see in the 6-minute CNN clip, which you don't get to see that in-depth kind of way of how soldiers interact and talk to each other and what the trenches are like.
What do you think is the most important thing that you've learned out there that we might be missing here, or that most people might be missing from what they would see on mainstream news?
I think there's this narrative about Russian-speaking Ukrainians that when people are trying to describe the conflict, what people usually do is they take the two sides and they explain their positions, right? The Russian position, obviously, is we are here to liberate the Russian-speaking peoples who want to be part of Russia, etc. Ukrainian position is, fuck you, right? That's our land.
Is Russia still doing the we're getting the Nazis out of the Ukraine thing?
Yeah, they're still
Cool.
they have these things called filtration camps, which what they'll do is they forcefully deport Ukrainians in territories like Mariupol. They'll take them and they'll run them through these filtration camps, and they'll they'll be asked questions like, do you support Zelensky? Do you support this? Do you support that? Do you have any friends in the military? Stuff like that. And depending on how you answer these types of questions, it depends whether you get put in imprisonment or whether you get forcibly deported and what happens. And a lot of this is justified under their denazification program. It's the same reason why they're appointing a lot of government, a lot of people in the South and replacing elected politicians with their self-hand-picked politicians who are collaborating with the occupiers. They still are running off of that angle, but it's pretty fucking ridiculous when you think about it. This war has nothing to do with fascism or Nazism in any way. I'll hear people try to make it about it, but it doesn't have anything to do with Nazism. It's just, if you're a Slavic person, you don't like Nazis because the Nazis killed a lot of Slavic people. So if you make your enemy the Nazis, then it's easier to justify violence against them. It's as simple as that.
Which is why everybody on the right is a Nazi here in America.
Exactly.
But that's actually true.
100%, yes.
So, what are you doing for entertainment while you're over there? Is it pretty much just work?
I'm playing Disco Elysium.
What was this?
Good.
I'm not familiar.
Sounds
Disco Elysium. It's an RPG game. I'm really enjoying Disco Elysium. It's really
a lot
good.
of people have recommended it for me and Adam to play.
It's a really good RPG. It's very you're gonna hear a lot of language, a lot of if you don't like reading a book, it's gonna suck. If you can read a book, then you can enjoy it. That's the only way I can explain it.
So what? There's a lot of
text-based.
text.
A lot of text. It's
Yeah.
You have to make decisions as an investigator, basically.
interesting.
Is it more visual novel style?
A little bit, but there's a lot of RPG elements.
But there's
It's
the
like a
actual gameplay
There's
to
a lot
it,
of point and click stuff, but it's
Gotcha.
it's mostly decision making, basically, which I love. I love games like that.
Yeah.
I want to watch my wrestling, but I can't because my Fight TV stuff doesn't work over here.
Oh.
So
Bullshit.
AEW is racist against Ukraine.
Yeah.
And it's a fake progressive company. They hate Ukraine. Tony Khan supports Vladimir Putin.
And you
Yeah,
heard
you tell
about you heard about Vince McMahon basically getting fired, right?
I did hear about Vince McMahon's $2 million payoff. It's beautiful, man. It's beautiful.
But
Taking down
he's fired, but not fired. He's
Yeah.
still in charge of everything.
That's the Raw segment he did where he goes up on stage after telling where I'm going to make an announcement. He just goes up there, basically says WWE represent after this all comes out, throws the mic out, and just Vince McMahon walks out of there.
It's amazing.
I don't know what I expected.
While idiots in the crowd are bowing to him.
Yeah, they're bowing to him. They're treating him like a god, man.
Yeah.
Well, Vince is kind of a god.
You would bow to him, Billy, and that's why nobody likes you.
Only in certain sex offenders.
I wouldn't bow to Vince. I also am a god. I would touch tips with him.
It's just a game recognizes game situation.
Yeah, I'd just let the tip of my penis touch the tip of his penis, and our godly powers would intersect.
Understandable.
But
very understandable.
But yeah, that's pretty much the only cool thing going on in the world right now is that Vince McMahon's finally got canceled. I thought that would happen like 10 years ago.
He'll be fine. He's still
I'm surprised this
every
is
show.
I'm surprised this is what's possibly taking him out. I mean, he's done like so much worse shit.
So much worse shit. It's very funny that it's this, but hey, it's something. But also, it's not actually going to take him out.
I mean,
so
we can talk about there's like the Brawl for All ruined so many people's lives. There was Owen Hart's death. I mean, there's of course the steroid scandals and all of that. Chris Benoit is kind of like
I don't know if any of those are necessarily blood on his hands.
I blamed
I
blamed Vince Russo for the Brawl for All. But maybe
that's fair.
The one thing that really interests me, and it could all be a rumor, is the Jimmy Snuka murder that happened with Jimmy. Like that one. I'm wondering.
Vince was instrumental in covering that.
If the rumors around that are true, that's pretty crazy.
They 100%.
Like, that's the one I thought the FBI would have been come knocking around for. But
if the Chris Canyon shit is true,
yeah, like how he kind of bullied Chris Canyon to suicide in a way.
He wouldn't give him a job, and then gave his gimmick to Orlando.
Cena goes on Howard Stern's show. It just plays represent company boy as Chris Canyon's talking about discrimination.
Yeah, he's not very good. Yeah, he was fired because he was bad.
Chris Canyon was fucking incredible. I mean, he wasn't like fucking, I don't know, like the best wrestler ever. No, he was a great wrestler. He was good. He was great.
See, I liked him as Mortis. He was a member of Raven's flock, and he was a masked wrestler. He kind of almost looked like Skeletor or something.
Yeah, when they were doing that whole Mortal Kombat angle.
Yeah,
he was in charge of the celebrity. He was in charge of the celebrity training for Ready to Rumble.
Yep.
Yeah,
and he was in Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
Yep.
You know, I'm surprised they haven't done a Ukraine arc on WWE television. I mean, the last thing I saw that was I guess it was Rusev, right?
Yes.
With the whole Russia and thing. It was Rusev. And then we had Cody Rhodes in AEW is like the weird anti-British thing.
Ugh.
Like, I'm a patriot and I hate Great
Cody
Britain for some
sucks.
reason.
Fuck Cody Rhodes.
I like Cody. I love watching Cody wrestle. I think he's an amazing wrestler. I just think that he wants the most kind of cleanish, kind of good guy, bad guy storyline of I'm America, America great, racism bad. It's like the most bland fucking bullshit.
It's so lame. I think he is a 3-star wrestler and a 5-star marketer. There is nobody better at marketing themselves than Cody Rhodes, but he's fine.
I can't remember. Have you two met before?
We have not.
Okay, all right. So Dylan, Scott here actually wrestles on a bunch of cards.
Wait, are you a furry?
Yes, he is.
Yes. Next question.
Do you dress up as a tiger?
Yes.
Yes.
He does.
Next question.
Okay.
What else you got?
Did you have an interaction with Brian Pillman when you asked him what a furry was?
Yes.
I asked him
Next question.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yep. That was it.
You guys are wild.
Wow. I have a decent memory.
Yeah.
Not bad. What? Oh, I was gonna say there is the Russia-Ukraine conflict has had one impact on WWE, one on-screen impact on WWE. Are you familiar with all of the banned words on WWE TV? Like you're not allowed.
You're not allowed to say it's. You can't call it a belt. You got to call.
Can't call it
like,
belt.
Something else.
You can't say wrestling. You can't say wrestler. Like no, it's fine because none of them are things you'd say on a fucking wrestling show, so it's no big deal.
No, of
but
course
the latest one is so I don't know, some girl jumped some other girl in the back. It wasn't as cool as it sounds. And which commentator? The Raw guy, Jimmy Smith. He said Becky Lynch attacked Bianca Belair backstage, and then you can almost hear the screaming in his earpiece, and he's like, "Oh, pardon me, assaulted Bianca Belair backstage. You are no longer allowed to say attacked on TV."
Why can't you say attack?
Because, Dylan, it's very simple. Because Russia attacked the Ukraine, and they don't want to be political. That's the real reason. That's a real thing I just said.
I actually don't believe you. I can't.
I'm sorry. I don't want to be. Look. Don't shoot the messenger. This is a real thing that's happening, and we're going to have to deal with it, okay?
I thought you were going to say they renamed the Russian leg sweep.
You know how I...
That's next.
You know how I found out that Russia had attacked Ukraine? I was drinking at a bar, and Vosh told me.
We were at the Unicorn Bar, and Vosh gets very quiet, looks at his phone, and says, "I have to go. Russia just invaded Ukraine." And we're like, well, this is a moment that's never going to happen again.
Right. Yeah.
Very surreal.
Yeah, it was extremely surreal. I didn't ever expect it to actually happen. Most people I know didn't ever expect it to actually happen. It was a huge surprise. A lot of my friends over here found out because they just started hearing explosions, because when you're in the Key of Oblast, obviously that's a high priority target for the Russian military. Fuck, man. It's kind of wild to think that this has been going on for almost 120 days now.
I can't believe I have friends that aren't going to realize that abortions were made illegal until they start having kids.
Dude, I can't. It's so weird to be not in America when the Roe versus Wade leak happened, and when Roe versus Wade got overturned, and all this information. And I'm over here trying to I'm on the front line of Zaporozhye or whatever, and I just look at my phone. I'm like, Roe versus Wade was overturned. Oh, lovely. And then put it back away, and I just have to keep going.
Things are going great back home too.
Yeah. Before they overturned Roe v. Wade, they also got rid of jewel pods.
Oh, fantastic.
Oh shit.
Yeah, it's the hits keep coming.
You see, they're also deregulating the EPA. They're saying it's unconstitutional for them to have these overbroad kind of environmental protections.
Oh, good. I'm glad it's all happening under a Democratic presidency too. That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
I love just how much dude, I fucking hate every piece of shit cocksucking asshole who tried to pretend that the 2016 election, when it came to the Supreme Court, didn't matter. Every single one of those assholes.
Really did. It really
three seats. What the hell, man?
Well,
seats.
I mean, look, people say that the first of the three should have been appointed by Obama, but it was very late in Obama's term, so we had to wait until a new president got elected. And then a lot of other people are going to say that the third one should have been the same thing because it was late in Trump's term.
Even later than the first one was in Obama's.
In fact, later for Trump than it was for Obama. But the argument you see for that is, fuck you.
Yeah. The argument is that the Republicans are just better at this bullshit.
They're literally better at it.
They're just better at it.
Yeah. No. The Democrats are stupid and cowards.
Well, I don't know. The Democrats are probably making a whole lot of money somewhere else.
Well, sure. I know one island where they're making a lot.
Fuck. I mean, the thing is, I guess for me, what angers me is what's the strategy moving forward, right? That's what I want to see the most action on. What's the strategy moving forward? Are we're gonna entrench ourselves in these state by state fights? Are we gonna codify it on the federal level? How do we codify it on the federal level? Do we get rid of the filibuster for this one issue? Okay, that would be great. Will Joe Manchin agree to that? No fucking way in hell is he going to agree with that. So what did the Democrats do from this position? There's not really much we can do, but the answers of protesting and, fighting on the state level and, trying to expand a majority in 2022, these are all things that we've heard time and time again. So they kind of ring on deaf ears. So it's kind of hard to convince people that this is these are our choices,
It sucks how many people were came out to vote in 2020 and it was they're here to defeat Trump, They were all behind Trump. Trump's gone now. why are people going to come out for anything now?
Yeah, the most Democratic votes ever cast in an election, and a year and change later, Roe versus Wade is overturned. I don't know how you like bounce back from that.
Have you seen any game plans that have been recommended, Dylan?
Like recommended. I mean, the big one is the codification on the federal level, which would be. It seems the idea is that if the Democrats are able to expand their majority in 2022, then they're going to attempt to codify it on the federal level. I believe it should have been codified during Obama's term. Now, a lot of people talk about the Obama supermajority when he had 60 votes in the Senate. Now, a lot of people say he had the supermajority for 2 years. That's not true. He did not have a supermajority for 2 years. He basically had like a supermajority for like 20 days because politicians kept dying and or being in the hospital or, just, I don't know, fucking their mistresses.
Thanks,
and they
Obama.
weren't available. Yeah, thanks, Obama. But I still wish that promise that he made on I'm going to codify it on the first day in office, that the first opportunity he had to codify it, he did it. He later said that he didn't want. He said it was too divisive and he didn't want to do it. Well, now the other radical, quote unquote, radical extreme of it has happened, right? Which has been completely overturned, and federal codification would have been another barrier to protect women's right to choose. But sadly, we don't have that, and that seems to be the option for the strategy from the Democrats. I think that really all we can do is try to fight for federal codification, make an exception when it comes to the filibuster for an issue of this importance, and basically just get ready for a trench fighting on every state that, despite, abortion bans are going to be implemented, places like Ohio.
I think it's really sick that these pro-lifers, their answer to the abortion ban is to tell women to close their legs. Like, you're never going to let that baby out. It'll die in there.
It is crazy.
That's not pro-life.
That is the argument. It's wild.
I think, well, their argument is always going to be that they believe that life starts at conception. That when the egg hits the sperm, that is then a life, right?
Sorry, hold that thought for a sec. Which on that, because when we were streaming on Sunday, it occurred to Adam and I, if that's the case, we're gonna have to add 9 months to everyone's age.
Yeah, we're all older.
Oh shit!
I think Japan does that.
Do they? Good for them. Japan at the vanguard of progressiveness is.
Well, I happen to know that my Jewish friends don't believe in birth at conception. They believe in birth at birth.
Well, it seems they believe it starts at conception. Therefore, abortion is murder. If you do abortion, you are murdering. Now, I don't agree with that because I find the idea that life, this kind of vague concept of like what is a life that is deserving of respect, or what is life starting when this thing just hits this thing, therefore it has the same rights as me. I find that shit fucking ridiculous.
A few cells. Like, there's other things that are a few cells that we don't have a lot of strong protections for, like everything else, actually.
Well, no. And in fact, there are more eggs that have been fertilized that end up just being, well, I don't know, exhumed from the body than there are actual, like, abortions. But there's no hubbub about that because that, I don't think, is really the issue at hand here.
Yeah, I think what we need to do is start putting women in jail for having miscarriages.
I think that's the real solution.
That's the move.
Okay, let's all vote here. I think we are a good representation side of America.
Is there any more rights we can take away from women before the year's over?
Now, I should note that I'm Canadian, but I think I should still get the most important vote. One thing that's always wild to me is like how much your laws vary state to state. It is crazy. Like, get your shit together. And if you don't want to get your shit together, I know. If you don't want to get your shit together, that's fine. Like, how about try being 50 weird little countries? Like, let's give that a shot. Like, obviously the big one is not working, so try something else. Mix it up.
I like that we have variation in our states, and that like states can like live a different way if they want to live a different way. If they want lower taxes, they can do that. If they want other extra protection and other things, they can do that. I've always liked that about the United States, that if I don't like Maryland because of some fucking law that was passed, I can just move over one state if I really don't like it enough. And having that freedom of movement as well is really good. because it's a lot more difficult for me to relocate from the United States to Mexico than it is for me to relocate from Maryland to Pennsylvania.
Sure.
And to have that, so I like that. I just think there's certain issues when it comes to like things like civil rights and certain federal protections that should be enshrined that I don't think are really up for debate. And I think this is one of those issues.
Yeah, the idea that we had this for so long and now it's gone shakes me. Like I never thought Roe v. Wade would be overturned.
Also, the case out of Washington with the coach that was making his team pray.
Was he making his team pray, or was he? I thought he was just praying on the field.
He was leading prayer as a public school football coach.
I think he was baptizing the students. That's my understanding, because I've done a lot of research into this.
I think he was making them like become like like abortion bombers. That's what.
Was he a moil? Yeah, was he giving circumcisions to his football team?
He was creating like 20 mini Timothy McVeighs.
How could he? Yeah,
we should be so lucky.
The story I heard was that he was just praying, and one of the kids was like,
he wasn't just praying; he had the whole team praying with him.
No, I don't know. I don't know all the details. So
there's literal like footage of it.
Well, I'd have to watch that footage then, because I didn't hear anything about it.
How dare you not watch the footage, Bill?
I know. I don't know anything other. I just heard that he was allowed to pray on the field. I don't know. What was the actual verdict?
The ruling was that it was a violation of his First Amendment rights to not be allowed to pray on the field before or after a game.
Look, I don't care if he personally prays, but if he's starting to just like do like a school sponsored like prayer, like, hey everybody, we're gonna pray together, like everybody, let's do like a kumbaya moment. That does feel like a divide, like that's crossing that church and state divide.
Well, the reason it was even brought up as an issue mainly is because certain parents were noticing that kids that weren't choosing to participate weren't getting as much field time as others.
Is that because the atheists suck at football?
Yeah, ever think about that?
Checkmate, atheists.
They have no faith in their. If they don't have faith in God, how can we have faith in their like the amount of downs they're gonna get?
Yeah,
you know who the only good Christian athlete is?
Who's that?
Miro of Racist Wrestling Federation AEW.
That's true.
He's
the
Christian?
reason why he is devoutly and strongly Christian, and he is the only consistent Christian athlete on television that I've seen. Period. Because what does every Christian football player do? They win, they thank God. Jesus got me there, blah, blah, blah. They lose, they blame themselves like fucking cowards. What does Miro do? He wins, he thanks God. He loses, he blames God. And then and then makes promises to overtake and kill God. Miro fucking gets it.
Yeah.
He understands it. He truly does.
Are you
Bulgarian king?
Are you allowed to kill God?
What were you going to say, Dylan?
Fuck, it's so fucking wild to see Roe versus Wade get overturned and this become a state-by-state fight again. Because I always thought this was something that our country was really cool with. I remember landing in Poland and I was thinking like, this backwards country with its fight against abortion. I mean, like this country's great and all, but like, man, I'm a little, I don't think I'm going to be messing with any Tinder apps here. I don't feel as secure. And then like 1 month I'm in Poland and I open my phone. Roe versus Wade is going to be overturned. I was like, oh, okay, well, fuck. Okay, well, never mind Poland. I relate with you now. It's unbelievable to me. We've had this for 50 years. That means if you're like a 40-year-old woman, you're waking up to a world that you just never recognized as a kid. Like this is something that we
never conceived of.
Never conceived of. We never thought this would be an issue again. We thought this was settled law because this was covered by the right to privacy. And there's a lot of laws that were covered by the right to privacy that also are making me like scared. For example, there was like I believe it was something v something. I forget exactly the exact names for it. It was in 2003, and it basically said that laws criminalizing sodomy are illegal, unconstitutional. It was in 2003 during Bush's terms, and it was based on that right to privacy, the constitutional right to privacy. The gay marriage ruling.
Well, we got to fix that one. That one we can all agree on.
We got all fix that one. Clarence Thomas, he very clearly said, like, hey, like, you know, next we're looking at gay marriage and whether that applies to this as well. And Clarence Thomas was one of the justices that said, hey, no, keep those homos separated. Fuck them. He was one of them. And so it's, I don't know, these things are like gravely concerning because that was a 5-4 vote. Gay marriage was. It was a 5-4 vote. And that was 7 years ago. The Supreme Court we see now is way more conservative than the Supreme Court we saw 7 years ago. And so that is at jeopardy. There's a decent chance we're going to see gay marriage overturned in the next 5 years.
I believe it. There's already so many things that this court has done in the last month's time that it wouldn't surprise me what they're working on next.
I just hate the idea that at the same time we're back to not only fighting state by state on abortion and making it so there's going to be people smuggling women almost out of these states to try to get abortion. They're smuggling abortion pills and shit, trying to get them out of the states so they can get to other states to get an abortion.
Here's money for the hours of content. P.S. Impeach Thomas, Kavanaugh, and what's her face.
I hate what's her face the most. And we're going to see this state by state fight for abortion rights and a state by state fight for gay marriage again.
Good times, taking it back to the 70s and 2000s, respectively.
Well, it would honestly be, it would just be back to the 70s. Yeah, it would just be basically it'd be back to 1970 when it comes to these fights.
Yeah. Trump basically negated 50 years of progress in one presidential term. It's really interesting.
Which is about...
And honestly, I was wrong. I didn't even think of the amount of damage he could do. I was like, yeah, he's abrasive. He's a jerk. I don't like him. He's racist.
He'll be gone after a term, and it won't be anything that long-lasting. Oh, wait, Supreme Court shit.
The Supreme Court stuff has always been something that I don't think most people don't pay attention to because it's not really, it's not flashy. It's not something that you really think has that big of an impact on you. It's not like passing a law. A law, I mean, I have to follow those all the time, but I don't follow, like, Roe versus Wade. Like, that's not, like, a thing. Like, nobody reads to me, like, Roe versus Wade allows you to do this. But if you, like, get smoked for catching pot, they're like, yeah, I'll read you the law you're fucking arrested under, you dumb fuck, right? So I think people kind of see these things as, like, these distant arbiters of deciding things that are above their pay grade and just like these permanent decision making. There's also no election for justices. If you ask most people to name all the justices, they couldn't. Why? Because there's no election for them. There's a big like debate for them like in Congress and the Senate, but they're not like directly chosen by the people. And so that's another reason I think they don't get as much attention in elections. If they did, maybe they would.
I also didn't think Trump could get in 3 justices in one term because that's unheard of. And it seemed like the justices we already had that were conservative seemed to be sensible about prior rulings for the most part.
Because they're older conservatives and are just like the sort of like classic conservative and not the weird fucked up ones you get now.
I thought so.
I mean, the thing is though, like when we talk about like, oh, what about these classic respectable conservatives and we have these like new brand Trumpist conservatives. I mean, at the end of the day, I prefer Mitt Romney over Trump, but the same people who were lobbying for Roe versus Wade getting overturned 5 and 10 years ago are still hand in hand with the Republican Party.
Yeah.
Like with Donald Trump. They're still working on the same level on the same things. Like certain parts of them are worse because they're like the Trumpists are willing to go farther and they're more radical. But at the end of the day, they're still working hand in hand when necessary.
I guess in a way they created the illusion that they don't because even like how the Bushes and John McCain couldn't stand Trump. It was at least the illusion of a divide between the Republican Party the old and the new.
I think to a lot of Republicans, they're going to look at this and they're going to see this as a justification of Trump. The fact that Trump was able to do something that neither Bush was able to do, that Ronald Reagan wasn't able to do, that no other Republican president was able to do. He set the groundwork for Roe versus Wade getting overturned just by him being. But the thing is, it wasn't him. He was just the person at the right place at the right time. It was more McConnell, but he's the one that's going to get the credit for it. And so he's the one that this is going to be something that really like smashes the drum on like Trump's kind of base of support, because they're going to say he was the one who vanquished Roe versus Wade.
You might say he made America great again.
You might say.
For fetuses.
For the fetuses.
For the fetuses, but what about all the people that still want to go outside and wear masks?
That's true.
You should be able to abort up to when it can form memories. So like up to like age 4, you should be able to kill your kid. That just makes sense. Like otherwise, who gives a shit? Everyone's such a fucking baby.
I think we should. Now that abortions are banned, we should raise the abortion age to whatever the average school shooting age is, so that we can just
12.
ban school shootings, right?
Sure.
Look, what can I actually ask you? Do you guys have like a line on abortion? What is your guys' line? Do you guys have a line?
I'm pro-abortion.
100% pro-abortion.
Yeah.
Like in all cases.
I'm pro-death.
All cases, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You fucked the guy you didn't want to fuck. You got pregnant. You don't want to have the kid. Go get a fucking abortion.
So up until and including birth.
Yeah, the baby's saying no, please don't, and you're like, too bad.
If the baby can talk, I do feel like it's a gray area.
What if the baby can do impressions of Gilbert
it's
Gottfried?
Saying "Don't kill me," I'm gonna kill it.
Gotcha. I have to see it in like Anglo-Saxon, like American English.
Yeah. No, if it's speaking French, I'm gonna kill that baby.
Oui, oui.
Gotcha.
I think that up until like a certain point, it's reasonable, and then even when it's unreasonable, it's the choice of like the doctor and the mom and everybody involved, right? There's got to be a reason why she'd want to kill a baby a week before it's due.
I mean, the thing is, when it comes to late-term abortions, and I asked the question just to like see what like people's position on it, but the vast majority of late-term abortions are not this like, oh shit, I'm pregnant.
Oh, wait,
I
I've
hadn't
been
noticed.
pregnant for 8.5 months. Damn, I should get on this.
I think there's like a bunch of students like turning in their paper late. That's not what's happening when you're that far along. It's usually, it has to do with like medical issues.
It's usually a health
or they
thing,
find something out about the baby that's like very discouraging. Like, hi, your baby is like a redditor, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, your baby's gonna grow up to appoint 3 conservative Supreme Court justices.
Your baby's wearing Von Dutch.
This thing out right now.
Your baby's wearing Von Dutch.
It's something along those lines, right? And then they have to make very difficult decisions about prioritizing their own health and prioritizing the health of other people. Actually, in like the Jewish faith, there is these actually rules, these religious rules of that. If the mother's life is at risk, like you have to, like, you got to do what you got to do, basically, right?
Yeah.
And once again, talk about, like, Judaism, best religion. I'll say that one more time. Judaism, best religion. You hear that, Hollywood? I'm with you.
So there's this actually restaurant, and I think it was Lviv. It's no longer there, but it was a Jewish restaurant that was not a Jewish restaurant. As in, it was a
everyone there tipped badly.
No. It was a Jewish restaurant run by non-Jews. So what they did is they imitated Jews and would just like do Jewish things, right? And they like would have like they have these menorahs on the wall. They'd come out in like the whole like the outfit, the kippah, the everything, and they would just like throw Jewish terms out randomly, speak random bits of Yiddish, and at the end of it, I believe it was called like the yellow rose or the something rose, the white rose. At the end of it, you would have to haggle for the price of your meal. And that was it was there for like I think like a good 15 years. It was a staple of Lviv, and it was next to one of the historical Jewish communities that were burnt down and slaughtered by the Nazis, and that's all that was left was this fake imitation Jewish restaurant. And a tiny little plaque.
Did they make a good pastrami?
I never got to eat there.
Damn.
It was shut down before I got there.
I saw a fake trailer for the reboot of Frasier, and I would give anything for it to be real, because it makes the Frasier reboot look so amazingly awesome.
You know it's gonna suck, right?
The Frasier reboot?
It's gotta suck. There's no way it's gonna be good.
No. It's not going to be good. But
I hate to ask this. What's Frasier?
Oh, well, fuck off.
When
Get out of here.
when we were your age, Kelsey Grammer, the star of Cheers,
he doesn't know. If he's not going to know what Frasier is, how the fuck is he going to know what Cheers is?
Oh yeah, that's true.
Cheers is an older show.
But everybody
this guy
knows
on
your
an
name.
old show you don't know was from an older show you don't know. and it was very popular.
And Frasier was based in Seattle.
It was based in Seattle. It
was a sitcom.
It was really popular. It was a huge show, and they're gonna reboot it, but I think it's gonna be terrible. But someone made this crazy thing. I'll show it to you, even though you don't know what Frasier was. Maybe you'll still find it amusing. Here it is.
Inherently, you'll understand.
I've wanted to talk
gritty
to you
reboot?
about this all week, but
Daphne? Why would anyone
It's about-
Jewish ever want to go to a Jewish restaurant? No seafood, nothing from a pig. Those are the two best ingredient groups.
Have you been?
Don't think of good food when you think of Jews.
Can't even get a
Have you
fucking
been?
cheeseburger.
Have you been to Cantor's? Have you been?
There's
to
deli. Yeah,
Cat's Delicatessen. They do delicious food.
It is delicious.
It'll blow your mind. What a great sandwich they make.
At Seattle.
I love how
I've
dark
wanted to
this
talk
is.
to you about this all week, but
Daphne?
it's about your brother.
What? I saved you. Resurrected you from the ashes. Those people would have killed you. Now you're gonna have to repay me that debt. With interest.
Hey baby, I hear the music calling, toss salads and scrambled eggs.
My, how everything can change.
And maybe I seem a bit confused. Yeah, maybe, but I got you pegged.
I am very disappointed.
But I don't know what to do with those tossed salads and scrambled eggs.
You don't bring me back what I want, and you won't have anything to come back to.
You're dead. Your families are all dead. You and everyone you ever met.
You see Eddie?
Do you understand me?
They're calling again.
This is a wrinkle in crime.
Frasier has left the building.
They all look so fucking old.
They are
So,
that.
so to be clear, that's not what Frasier is. Frasier is a sitcom.
Yeah, Frasier was a sitcom.
So Kelsey Grammer played the character Dr. Frasier Crane between the shows Cheers and Frasier for like 20 straight years,
Yes.
basically. And his deal is he's a gay British guy who is neither gay nor British.
I
the
couldn't
best way I
have
can
less
describe
of a
him.
frame of reference for this television programming.
Yeah. Yeah, no, all that trailer did was add further confusion.
I love that.
It replaced Seinfeld in the NBC Thursday night lineup. Does that help?
I'm familiar with Seinfeld, yes.
Okay.
I've never watched it, but I'm familiar with it.
Of course. Why would you have watched Seinfeld? Who's watched Seinfeld? Practically no one.
Frasier is the dad of the girl from Rick and Morty. So kids love Rick and Morty.
Not really.
Oh shit.
Are you doing jazz hands?
I was doing those are my jazz hands.
Frasier was Beast in the first X-Men.
Yes, he was.
Oh, I'm
How about
familiar.
that?
That's a Marvel thingy.
That's a Marvel thing. That's just free. That's for the kids.
Not in the
baby.
first X-Men. He
that
was
is for the
Beast in
kids.
the third X-Men, right?
Shut the fuck up, Bill. I'm trying here, okay?
I
Jesus Christ.
appreciate your attempts.
Everyone buy stock on wire coat hanger manufacturers.
Absolutely.
no.
Yeah, they're
Coat hanger
great
sales
because
through the roof.
not only are they great for back alley abortions, but they're also really good for turning your guns into semi-automatics.
Oh yeah, and hanging your coats.
Oh fuck, that's what I meant. Sorry, I meant
The thing is, that is another thing about this. Ultimately, all this is going to achieve, it's not really going to, I don't think this is really going to do much to stop abortions.
Yeah.
I think all it's going to do is we're going to see more people dying from coat hanger backroom surgeries.
Absolutely.
And like using dirty needles and shit that you're not
Yeah,
supposed
like
to
you
be
think it's
using.
going to stop abortion? No, it's going to stop safe abortion.
Yeah, there's all sorts of TikToks going around from like the witch community where the witches are like, "Hey, if you want to have a baby, don't drink this."
What a What a fun sentence that is.
The witch community.
There's all sorts of TikToks going around from the witch community.
The witch community.
It's a fun time to be alive.
With all the suggestions of what not to drink if you want to keep a baby.
Don't drink this.
Don't drink this if you want to keep a baby.
Are you a member of the witch community?
Nah, but I'm witch adjacent.
Sure.
So you're warlock adjacent, right? That's the correct term.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I've been told that warlock is not really real, and that
I think man witches are witches.
witches are witches.
Yeah.
In Harry Potter, they're wizards.
Wizards.
That's the male version of witch.
That's a little fucked.
Is there a gender neutral witch term, or is it?
I think witch has become gender neutral.
Warlock has been like a term for witches for a while, but
That's what I thought that guy running for Congress in Georgia's name was, Warlock. I was really disappointed.
Speaking of
Warnock.
Speaking about crazy people who run for office in Georgia, did you guys watch the recent Georgian elections with any interest at all? So after the Buffalo shooting, which was an absolute tragedy, there was this instance where the Buffalo shooter, before going in to do the shooting, showed furry porn on his phone.
Oh, that's why I've heard of this. Go on.
And he showed furry porn on his phone before going in. It was just like a straight up dog. Like, it's not even an anthropomorphic. Like, it's like this cartoon character called Martha Speaks, right? And so a candidate in Georgia responds, and it's not only this one candidate. In fact, I could probably get you a link of somebody else bringing up furries in a separate rant while on a TV show. But she basically blames the Buffalo shooting on the furry community.
Yeah.
She says that we need to stop this furry terrorism. And she was running for, I believe it was governor or Senate or something along those lines. She got like 5% of the vote.
Yeah.
But she really dug in her heels on it. She wants to take on the furry community.
And did she win?
Bring it, cunt.
No, she did not. She got 4% of the vote.
Damn.
And there was the other one, which started at I think it was a Michigan PTA meeting of a parent complaining about there being litter boxes in the gender-neutral bathrooms for the furries, which was just a lie, and then it got picked up by national news, and a bunch of actual politicians were using it as a platform. I'll get the litter boxes out of the bathrooms in schools. It was pretty cool. You should check it out.
You should put litter boxes in schools, though.
I was going to say, that sounds cool. Do that.
And there was a ton of little floor shitters running around in my high school. They needed them.
Don't some schools have sand boxes in their playgrounds and shit? Isn't that basically?
We can't poop in the sandboxes.
Why not?
We can't poop in the playground.
What kind of trash school did you go to, Ben?
The kind that poops in sandboxes.
There's so many places for you to poop in a public school, not the sandbox.
I never went to public school, so I was, I didn't.
Yeah, if you'd ever gone, you'd have known that there was places other than the sandbox to poop in.
Damn. That's Catholic school for you.
Oh my God. Dylan, do you have a curfew lights out thing going on there? Or are you free to do whatever you want?
It's 5 a.m.
I was going to say, it's got to be 4 or 5 a.m. there.
I'm talking about in general. Are you held to a strict schedule?
There's curfew. There's curfew. I can't be out past 11 p.m.
Okay.
There was one instance when we were coming back from Zaporozhye after being on the front line, and we get stopped by these guards constantly. They search all of our vehicles and do all this stuff because we have a foreign car. It's a Polish car, which if you see a Polish car in the middle of eastern Ukraine, you have questions. And they're like, oh, we have an American here, a French here, and 2 Polish people here. I don't know why we got the whole
That sounds
UN.
like the beginning of a funny joke.
Yeah, exactly. They're like, I don't know why we got the whole United Nations in the single car. And they stopped us for an hour, 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, these stops. It was extremely ridiculous. And we already have 10 hours of driving to do. And so we get into Kiev at 11:30 because of all the stops. And we go to the final checkpoint before we get into the city. And they're like, nah, man, you can't come in. What do you mean we can't come in? You just can't come in. And so we had to sleep outside, basically on the road, just on the side of the road, in a war zone, which was pretty weird.
That seems a lot more reasonable than letting you in.
I look. I think they should have let us in. Okay, they should have let us in. They should have let me in.
that.
It's because it's an easy explanation. We had the documents, we had everything in order, but it's just 11:30, so they just turned us around.
Would you have been able to call ahead in a situation like that, or is that impossible?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Usually they'll I think you could do something like that, but at that point, we would have had to plan that in advance.
Totally, yeah.
And we didn't know we were going to be stopped for 3 hours.
Yeah.
I think I had my first night terror outside that night.
God.
Oh, that's always fun.
Yeah. I don't remember any of it, but I was told that I woke up in the middle of the night with the night terror.
Ugh.
And you were all in the car together sleeping, or?
No, we were sleeping outside.
Oh, on the ground.
Yeah, on the ground.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, on the, it was on a gas station parking lot.
Fuck.
Yeah. Doesn't sound enjoyable. And how long have you been there? 2.5 months or something?
Yeah, 2 to 2.5 months, basically.
Oh.
Yeah.
And do you know when you're coming back, or you're just waiting?
No clue.
Okay.
No clue. When I'm done.
All right.
When I'm done. I don't know when that'll be, but when I'm done.
Are you gonna get some Ukrainian ink to document your time?
Oh,
there?
I didn't think you were gonna say ink.
Absolutely. I want to get a stalker tattoo.
A stalk? What is a stalker?
Yeah, what
tattoo?
is that?
It's from the video game, Stalker.
Oh, I thought you were a Tarkovsky fan, but the video game's fine too, I guess.
No, but there's a video game series called Stalker, is very popular over here, and there's a tattoo from the game. But I have, because in the game they have this tattoo on their arms that's it's Stalker. It's written Stalker, but it's an abbreviation for something. Now the problem I have, because I want to get this tattoo, is that I just have the word Stalker printed on my arm. People are going to think I'm a sex offender. They're going to think it's part of some court order. So
it was a punishment.
Yeah, it was a punishment. They branded me as a stalker. So I got to figure out a way to I got to put it somewhere I can hide it.
Well, no. Don't compromise. Do your big stalker on the arm, and then in smaller font in brackets underneath the video game. Then everybody wins.
Yeah, put a little line here, just the video game.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or instead of the video game,
minuscule text.
Instead of the video game, so you don't give up the reference to a video game, just in small text write, "I'm not a sex pest."
Sure.
Yes, I what I should do is I should put stalker in tiny text and put in huge text, "I'm not a rapist."
See,
yeah. Okay. Big text stalker. Small text the video game. Big text I'm not a rapist. Small text. I also need to watch more Tarkovsky movies because that's the superior stalker.
That's a
property.
big tattoo.
It's fine. You get it.
A lot.
I'm wondering why more people don't get "I'm not a rapist" tattooed on them. I feel like that's.
I have 3.
Oh, see,
Well,
you're ahead of the game.
It's kind of like the last word too, and if you got it tattooed on your arm, it would show. Like if you got it tattooed on your left arm, it would be the only word that would show.
Yeah, you're wearing a longer sleeve, and
when I'm wearing my 3/4 tee, it's real problematic.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Oh yeah.
I gotta stop getting tattoos.
You already stopped. You stopped since birth.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll ever get tattoos.
He actually stopped 9 months before birth.
9 months before birth.
Ben.
Yeah, on conception, I stopped. But is there any good food you've eaten out there? Is there anything you found that's just
borscht
pierogies every day?
Borscht
I don't know
great.
why borscht and pierogies, man. I don't know what people portray borscht as it's a fucking a single onion.
That's delicious.
Like a little bath of water, and it's the most disgusting thing in the world. Because during the Soviet Union, Soviet meals were portrayed in American media as kind of he eats one piece of bread and a borscht which has single onion. That's
all we
it's
have
portrayed.
to drink is cold tears, and yeah.
Exactly. So they wouldn't portray it in a very becoming light. But borscht is it's such a diverse food item. It's basically just it'd be like me saying oh, I like soup. Soup is extremely diverse. But I love borscht and I love pierogies, man. Those things are great. I love them.
Have you had gołąbki?
I don't know what that is.
That's cabbage rolls in Poland.
Yeah, no, I've not touched
Delicious stuff.
Yeah, cabbage rolls are
The
great.
best nachos I ever had were in Poland.
That's
Polish
interesting.
What were they done up
was
with?
very
Were they anything special
It
about
was
them, or
just like
they all hit?
They just all hit. It was like just they piled them up on this. It was like a plate, but it was like piled up to like here. Like the plate's here and the nachos are like here.
Good
Nice.
cheese layering.
Had good cheese layering.
Absolutely.
Lettuce, tomato, peppers, jalapenos sliced perfectly. It was perfect. It was the perfect nachos.
I had some pretty amazing nachos once, and it was nacho chips, and then it was like a layer of very purified, or like I won't say purified, very like pureed, refried beans, and then a layer of cheese melted over it. And it was almost like the cheese and the beans were like a single layer across the top of each chip. It was very strange how it was done. It was very simple, but it tasted very good. And I've only had that once, and I've never seen it like that ever again. So whenever I hear of like good nachos, I immediately think of those weird nachos that I had once and never again. Just you know.
I just want my fast food back, man. I want my big, easy option. I can just Uber Eats anything. I miss that.
I
so
know,
much.
right?
Is there any fast food there?
A fast food exists.
But it's too difficult to get to, or
Actually, I remember I was in Poland. This is a much more interesting story. I was in Poland, and in Poland they have McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I try McDonald's in all these countries, and I'm like, I don't like it. The portions are too small. It's just like, I don't know. It doesn't hit the same. But I stop by it, and I see this tiny little ad pop up on the screen, and it says, Ukraine burger. And I freeze, and I look over, and in Polish McDonald's, and I think it's only Polish McDonald's because McDonald's isn't in Ukraine anymore because they left because of the war.
Mm-hmm.
There is something called the Ukraine burger, which is just a chicken sandwich, but they call it the Ukraine burger. As far as I know, none of the proceeds go to Ukraine. There's no labeling on it that's like this is a Ukrainian flag. They just call it the Ukraine burger.
Huh.
And I tried it. It was like fine, but it didn't have anything special about it related to Ukraine.
It was a trap.
It might have been. I think the thing is, you put Ukraine on anything in Poland right now, it's like gold. Like people in Poland are like so pro Ukraine.
Was it grilled or fried chicken?
Fried.
Huh. Yeah.
I get your tricks, Poland.
I don't understand it. Maybe I'm not aware, and they were giving the money to like Ukraine, but there was like no explanation. As it was just Ukraine burger.
It's the Ukraine burger.
Yeah, that just miraculously has been added to the Polish McDonald's menu after Ukraine was invaded. Does it give an explanation of like this much money goes to some donation? No, it doesn't. It just appeared. There was no advertising for it whatsoever.
Very strange.
Yeah,
very strange.
I don't know what evil they're putting on that sandwich. I'm not gonna stick around to find out.
I tried it. It was fine. But I don't understand what it has to do with Ukraine.
Ukraine loves chicken sandwiches. This much I know.
I mean, maybe they do.
Was like
Maybe
a chicken
I'm unaware. I
Kiev?
haven't had one while I was here. I've never had a chicken sandwich once I've entered Ukraine. I haven't had any here.
Thank you, Billy, for reacting to my ideas earlier. Great show.
Yes. Cheers, Harry. No pro. Now, you said like you live that streamer life, and one of the big things would be like getting Uber Eats and everything. Like you said, you miss getting Uber Eats.
Yeah.
That was one of the best things about getting into a long stream, having some food come, get that up. Are you back to streaming pretty regularly now? Where you're at?
I'm back to streaming, but I'm in a very weird place with streaming.
Yeah.
Because I can't, like yesterday there was a power outage in the whole area, so I just obviously there's only so much I can do, right?
Yeah.
So like if something happens, I can't stream. Safety first, always.
Always.
I got to be careful about where I'm at and what I show, etc. Like I can show like exploded like munitions or like whatever, right?
Yeah.
I can show like stuff like that. That's fine. But if I like show just like a major landmark, then I can genuinely endanger myself.
Yeah.
So I've got to be quite careful. But I also just feel weird about streaming right now.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've dealt with a lot more kind of like fun entertainment on the internet, which is fun and entertaining. But a lot of my more fulfilling work is like when I go down on the ground with soldiers and like record them, interview them, talk to people, stuff like that. And so I feel like I got a lot of fulfillment out of it, but now I feel a little bit less fulfilled about my streaming like stuff. Like I feel better now that I've done something that I care a lot about, but it's very hard for me to like just figure out like what I'm going to be doing going forward with my channel once I upload all this Ukraine content. Do I want to do this going forward? Do I want to go to places like Syria, Iraq, Myanmar, like do stuff like this in the future and just be a war journalist? Do I just want to go back to the streamer lifestyle and this just be like a weird arc that happened? Like I don't really know, and I'm trying to figure that out.
Yeah. Have you thought about maybe following Ethan Ralph around and covering him getting beat up all the time?
You could probably catch his next beating in Portugal.
Dude, I don't know what the fuck is up with Ethan Ralph. I've never talked to Ethan Ralph. I know he hosts a kill stream, but the dude just seems like a clown. I know he hosted some bowling event that went south. I know he keeps on getting beat up in Portugal.
Keeps getting beat up in Portugal, like a lot.
Like at least twice, right?
Yeah.
Yes. 2 for 2.
2 for 2. Both times he's been to Portugal, he's gotten beat up.
That's rough.
My goodness. That is rough.
The funny thing is that he goes there to try to own the people who make fun of him on the internet, and every time he goes there, he gets
never quite pans out.
The first time he was beaten severely. His face was rearranged, his orbital bone was broken. He ended up having to live in a hospital for 4 days, and I think he left a week later than he was supposed to. The second time, people knew he was going there, and they ran into him, and he got aggressive with them, and they just kind of beat him up. Like a little bit, like he got punched and had like a black eye or something.
But it was so bad the way they did it to him because it made him look like a weak little baby.
Yeah.
The thing that gets me about him is the dude is like incredibly toxic from the way he engages on the internet.
Oh yeah.
I'm pretty. I mean, he's done some like pretty messed up shit.
He's revenge porn.
He's been convicted of the revenge porn thing. So, like he was trying to own his girlfriend's ex-boyfriend, and his way of doing that was leaking a video of him and her having sex without her consent. And then later on, after they broke up, she pressed charges against him, and he has a conviction for revenge porn. He also did a year in jail for fighting a police officer at one point too.
Oh.
Like unsolicited.
He also...
So he's not all bad.
No, this was a bad one.
He also openly tried to dox people on our stream.
Yeah, he's a big dox guy.
Yeah,
yeah. Loves a good dox.
It was when we had Vosh on. He was trying to dox people. Vosh knew.
Yeah.
It got out of hand. And then I hung up on him because I didn't want him to dox anybody. And then he went over to like DLive or like one of those platforms where he was still allowed, and then started doxing people in my family instead. So, yeah.
Like people like that is the thing. It's like I enjoy a good lolcow, right? Which he feels like a lolcow. Like I don't know too much about him. Just like I only hear like what the things he's done.
Your assessment is correct.
He has a specter of toxicity around him, but once you start acting in that way, it's like no longer funny because it's like I can't just sit here and enjoy this guy acting like a fucking mental case, because this mental case might end up leaking my grandma's house or something.
Yeah,
you know?
Yeah.
And I don't want that. I don't want my grandmother to like get firebombed.
That's why
That's why
while
all my grandparents are dead. I thought ahead.
There's
for a
because you
while
firebombed them already.
For a while, people were afraid to say anything about him because they would get doxxed. But then enough people turned on him from his past that he just gets made fun of all the time.
There's some guy named Jeff in our fan chat saying to call him.
Get him out.
Okay.
Get him out.
Yeah, I'll add him.
He's gonna dox everyone.
I don't know what that's. Yeah, he's a lolcow. Lolcow.
It would be interesting.
Jeff
would it
Holiday.
be worth it talking to this guy or like?
Maybe.
It might be interesting. He devolves so quickly, so you never really know. It could go well, and then all of a sudden it could be the worst thing in the world.
He will turn on a dime if you hurt his feelings.
Yeah.
Oh.
He was getting the softball interview with Chrissy Mayer. Was that the girl who was interviewing him? And she like read a stream chat kind of the same way Jack Murphy had something read on Sydney Watson's show.
Yeah.
And then Jack Murphy flipped on Sydney Watson. Ethan Ralph did the exact same thing to this Chrissy Mayer girl. It was.
Chrissy Metz, the large girl from This Is Us.
I love her.
I know you do. She's an all-time fat.
She's one of the all-time fads.
Yeah.
I love big fat things.
What's going on, boys? How you doing?
Hey,
What's up, Jeff? We've been waiting for you all night.
Well, he was busy doing his own stream, so.
I do one big stream a month. But and like I've got a ritual that at the end of the roundup, I go and I park my ass on the couch and I don't move for like 36 fucking hours. But Ben told me that Dylan was going to be on, and Dylan was just done with all the Ukraine stuff.
I guess he's still there. I guess I was wrong, and that
he's
he is
there
still
right
there.
now.
Yeah.
I'm here right now.
Which is an absolute fucking Chad maneuver, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to pass up getting a chance to actually talk to Dylan." So yeah.
Hello.
And also, Scott is here. Hi, Jeff.
I love Scott. Let's be honest.
I'm in Ukraine too. I'm just not making a big deal.
No, you're
about
not.
it. Shut up. You don't even know.
Let's be honest, Scoot.
Wait. Which side are you on, though, Scott? Well, on which side of Ukraine? Occupied Ukraine?
What are you asking me?
Like, which part of Ukraine are you in, Scott?
What's the question?
Are you in the occupied part of Ukraine?
One more time?
Streaming from like a Russian bunker? Or I just want to know.
Just say I'm in Ukraine and I'm doing the good work. Okay. Let's not put too fine a point on it.
Scott, are you drinking vodka?
Vodka? No.
Dude, there was a hard liquor ban in Lviv, Ukraine.
Oh.
How do you ban vodka in a Ukrainian city? How did you even get away with that?
Was there just mass suicide?
Dude, it was crazy. I didn't understand it because I like, you know, I'm in Ukraine. I want to try the Ukrainian vodka.
Sure.
And I just can't get my hands on it because it's banned in Lviv. I actually saw like a bar that I was hanging out at, like, get fined for having people drink outside. It was so bizarre. This country that's like known for its alcohol, just like getting really hardcore about it over the war. And it was only Lviv. Like, Kiev didn't ban hard liquor. Other cities didn't ban hard liquor. It was just this one city.
Well, maybe Lviv should get some more fucking vowels in their name and reassess.
Maybe they should.
Lviv is a little bit closer to the line, though, isn't it?
Yeah, Lviv is the place where all the journalists go so they can say live from Ukraine.
Right. Okay.
Lviv.
All right. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Like, you wanna ban liquor for anybody who's gonna gonna have to go out and, like, you know, get, you know, in a
Ralph
calm.
is the real life Eric Cardman. Good see Father Doc Holiday. Also, that dude who kept talking about Jesus and New Age on the roundup sounds just like Dylan.
Yeah, there was a dude on the roundup who did kind of look a little bit like you, Dylan, a little bit.
Wow. You know, I think it was because they wanted to tackle crime, but I'm gonna be completely honest. Seeing the policing they did in Lviv, I don't feel like it helped anyone at all. I think if there was ever a reason to drink, you know, I think they've gotten a decent reason to drink. And yeah, like I'll host Ethan Ralph if he comes to Ukraine. Okay, we can hang out.
We just had a super chat. Someone's asking for advice on how to join the Ukrainian army.
I don't think I'm the best person to ask for that, but I believe the Ukrainian, if you're in a country that has a Ukrainian embassy, which you most likely are, unless you're in Russia, and if you are, run. You go to the Ukrainian embassy and you basically tell them what you want to do, and they should be able to explain like the next steps. That's what I was told a few months ago, and that's how it's supposed to go. If you want to join something like the International Legion, I have a lot of friends and folks I know in the Legion, great people. The Legion was actively involved in the fighting in Severodonetsk. That might not necessarily be the fighting you get. You might more get police work or the kind of like just, you know, checkpoint stuff. But also don't do it if you have no military experience. If you have no military experience, you're nothing more than a PR tool or a waste of space.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I'm very thankful that you came out in one piece. I really do.
Oh, thank you. I don't want to die either. We're on the same page.
Yeah, you probably don't know when you're coming home. So like you're still not in one piece because you're in stasis right now. You're in one piece, but like you're Schrodinger's piece, right? Until you're home, you're not home.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even originally think I was going to go to the front lines with Ukrainian troops like I did and see what I saw and did what I did with getting spotted by the drones and everything. It was pretty crazy. And there's like other stuff I want to do, stuff that's somewhat similar to that again, because I want to get more footage. I want to tell the best story that I can, and interacting with people here who are very encouraging about me continuing to record people, continuing to interview people, even if I'm just some like dumb fucking YouTuber. I always appreciate that. I appreciate the amount of, I guess, faith they have in me to like cover it. So I want to continue to do this.
This might be insensitive, but Logan Paul.
I love anything that starts with that.
Logan Paul got signed to WWE today, and he got famous with the Suicide Forest. Can you find like a Homicide Forest or something out there?
And then get signed by WWE?
So very close to me right now is a forest full of mines. Okay.
Oh boy.
So there are some options. Okay. There are some things
just throwing that out there. If you need a big ending for your doc.
I'm just saying. Look, I think playing hopscotch in the minefield might be a good way to end it up.
Horrible.
And you can be on WrestleMania 39 teaming with The Miz.
For real.
That'll be great. Teaming with The Miz while he's in diapers.
Do they have Tinder out there?
Yeah, they have Tinder. They have a Grinder. Yeah.
Okay. Don't do anything weird though, right? Like, is there any precautions you have to take while you're out there?
What do you mean? What do you mean by don't do anything weird?
Don't meet up in the fucking Homicide Forest for some butt stuff.
That could be kinky.
That's scary.
I haven't slept with anyone since I've come to the country. I feel weird about it. Like I have those desires, obviously, but it's very hard for me to like really commit myself to doing anything like that.
Yeah.
You know?
In solidarity, I also haven't slept with anyone since Dylan came to the country.
Okay, I appreciate that. I appreciate the unity. Thank you. I think everybody should.
I will not fuck until Dylan fucks. That is my promise to you, the American people.
I feel like I should feel concerned about that because how would he be the one that deems when he fucks when I fuck?
He's gonna come and fuck you.
Well,
that's when the rapist section comes in.
I hope you like fur, Dylan.
Oh no, he's gonna be in his full wrestling gimmick.
Yep.
I am.
He has a tail. It's okay,
Ben,
he's got these big furry feet.
It's not the day for it, Ben.
Oh, okay.
So Murphy again, who asked about joining the Ukrainian military earlier, says, "What about getting to Ukraine or Eastern Europe to help with humanitarian aid if I don't have military experience?"
Experience. What if I don't have military experience?
Whatever. I'm a 4-year-old.
Yeah.
If you don't have military experience, then I would say there's a lot of organizations that's working with refugees. There's a lot of organizations that's working. If you have medical experience, obviously that is going to be extremely helpful. But you're going to have to I can't give you any organizations off the top of my head. But yeah, there's plenty of work for volunteers to do in this area. Absolutely, both within Ukraine, Poland, and other countries in Eastern Europe and throughout Western Europe. So if you don't have military experience and you still want to do something physically with your hands, yeah, you can still come over here and help. Yeah, absolutely.
We've also established they have Grinder over there, so you could just maybe give one to the kid.
I have what I call the Grinder theory. If you open up Grinder on your phone and you get at least like one page of matches, then that country will inevitably have gay marriage.
Interesting.
It's gonna happen because I think the gays are organized enough, right, and not suppressed enough at that point. Like once you can match with enough people on Grindr, I think it's only a matter of time until you have a gay president.
Have we tried to match on Grindr in the Vatican City?
I am definitely curious about that because I keep opening Grindr every time I move just to see what the local scene's like. And it's active in Ukraine. It was active in Poland too. Very notoriously homophobic country.
You'd probably also be getting Rome too in Vatican City because Rome is like all around.
Little Roman dome.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, being near border areas, you get a lot of people from like the country right next door. Which then like telling like, hey, you're in Lublin. Well, I'm just in Ukraine. You want to cross the border? Like this is not gonna work.
I wish you could test this grinder theory in Iran, but I'm guessing grinder's illegal in Iran.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing, right? That's why it's a little bit more difficult in like certain like in those countries. I'm not as sure because grinder's not active yet. They're not operating.
So do we think Iran won't have a gay president? Is that what we're saying?
They probably already have.
I think they're gonna have a gay queen eventually. Maybe, who knows? Eventually, statistically. You know, what is it? The monkey typewriter theory?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was the best of times. It was the blurst of times. Stupid monkey.
Hey.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alex. For those of you that have given us donos today, we appreciate it very much. This is the second official show of the week, and we will be.
And
back.
we have COVID.
We'll be back again. Is it Saturday?
They have COVID.
Yeah, Saturday
money,
we'll be
guys.
back.
Give me COVID money.
Yeah, we just got a little COVID. No big deal.
So you said you were excited to talk to me. Did you have any questions that you wanted to ask at all? Any questions?
Well, like a lot of it has just been like fulfilled by me watching your feed and whatnot, and like seeing some of the stuff that you've been doing. But I mean, I guess the main thing that I've been really curious about from somebody who has been right there on the front lines is obviously Russia is committed to total and unending war. And that the news of that obviously has to have like reached Ukraine. What is the response by Ukrainian people when they hear that like Russia is in for the fucking long haul? Like, how do they respond to that?
So I have yet to meet a single Ukrainian, and I've met Ukrainians who are refugees. I've met Ukrainians who are displaced. I've met Ukrainians in the military. I've met Ukrainians all across all sectors of society. Many of them being Eastern Russian-speaking Ukrainians, and I have yet to meet a single Ukrainian who would say that Zielinski and his government should compromise, or maybe just give him some territory, or maybe it's time to like put down, maybe it's time to give up. I can't find anybody who even has that position. It's not a position that would even be acceptable in Ukrainian wider society. When I hear people try to make proposals of, well, maybe Zelensky should, give up now, for the good of his country, I don't think people understand that's not an option, because I don't know if people know much about modern Ukrainian history, but leaders who don't do what their people want for too long in Ukraine don't have a very long time in power.
No, they don't.
In 2014, the Ukrainian people very clearly showed that when Yanukovych fled the country on a fucking Russian helicopter, right? So, in my opinion, I think Ukrainians are ready for the long haul if necessary. They want to end it. They want the war to end, but they're not going to just sign away their territory, large swaths of it, to the Russian government. And a lot of people will say, well, what about a ceasefire? The problem with the ceasefire is anything that kicks the can down the road, I feel is unnecessary. Because part of the reason why Ukraine is doing so well is because this war, the Russians didn't prepare for it. They weren't properly prepared. They underestimated Ukraine. And so right now they don't have the proper manpower to really handle this invasion. They didn't really have a great plan. If you declare a ceasefire for, let's say, a few months, all that's going to do is allow Russia time to reorganize, try to gather up more manpower to then conduct wider offensives. So all that does is not end the violence. It just kicks the can down the road. And Ukraine has been dealing with this violence for over 8 years. And so I don't really think they should kick the can down the road any longer. Zelensky's even said this, that he wants to end this here and now so another generations of Ukrainians don't have to know this violence. I remember going to I was 14, 15, going to the carnival in Ocean City, Maryland, and meeting Ukrainian refugees who fled the country who are now working as carnies because the war's been going on for 8 years. They were from Eastern Ukraine. So I think Ukrainians kind of view it as it's not if we have to do it for the long haul, we have to do it from the long haul, but they are committed to this fight. They are committed to secure their national sovereignty. And it only is more so since the invasion started, because after seeing what the Russians did in Bucha to civilians, tying their hands behind their backs and shooting them, the accusations of rape of of women and young girls. The video footage that has come out, the bombing of civilian infrastructure. Nobody wants to say, you know, all those civilian executions? We're just going to tell every Ukrainian who's in occupied territory, tough shit, sucks for you. I guess if they do that to you, there's nothing we can do. I'm very sorry. Nobody wants to sign away thousands of Ukrainians to die.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I guess like I was gonna follow up and ask like how organic is like that response, but it sounds like it's 100% like a nationalistic. Everybody's like on board with this idea. I guess like I guess the other question I would have is so like take the conflict in Chechnya, which is
Russia
very much
seems
like
to be pivoting towards economic war instead of boots on the ground war. Can Ukraine survive that? And read out my last super chat.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jeff. Go ahead and finish your question.
The thing that I was going to ask is like, so we have a historical precedent, especially with what Russia and specifically Putin did in Chechnya. In that aspect of like Eastern Europe and Western Asia, there has to be, or at least I would assume there would be, an understanding of like how brutal and how much like they are willing to manipulate to get the way that they want. Like just looking at like the historical how they created the fucking war in Chechnya. Like we know that now. We know that like the entire like inflaming of the war between Chechnya and Russia was basically like a fucking Russian psyop. We understand that. We know that. So that like I mean, come on. But like that has to like at least play into part of why people are not going to give Russia any fucking quarter. They're not going to give any slide to it and be like, well, you know, maybe we can give like a little bit of space for this or whatnot. They'll find a reason.
So, I mean, when you look at the people who are the most supportive of Ukraine, it's not the Germans, right? To somebody who you know, fought the Russians before. It's not the Italians. It's not the French.
Sure.
It's Eastern Europeans. It's Polish people. It's Estonians. It's Latvians. It's Lithuanians, right? A lot of the Belarusians who have fled the country are joining with the Belarusian Free Legion, going to Ukraine to fight. A lot of Belarusian anti-government activity, blowing up rail lines that are supposed to be supporting the war effort. Why is it that it's all, you know, these countries and people? It's because these are all countries and people that have a historical, abusive relationship with Russia and Russian chauvinism, who understand what the czars did to their peoples and their cultures historically. The Russian Tsardom banned the Ukrainian language. It was illegal to print books in Ukrainian in Ukraine. That's why all the Ukrainian scholars went to territory that was occupied and held by Austro-Hungary, because at least there they could practice their literature and their language. They understand that they have the shared history. And there's also an understanding, even with Russia's allies, the type of precedent, this Russian justification of, oh, well, there's Russian speakers in your country, so we're going to invade and, quote unquote, liberate them. By the way, when I was on the front lines, I heard people speaking Russian constantly. In fact, most of the people I interacted with were primarily Russian speakers. I'm writing an article about this right now. This idea that they're coming in to liberate the Russian speakers is bullshit, because it's the Russian speakers who are dying the most. They're the ones that are mostly dying in eastern Ukraine, because that's where they're concentrated, and that's where the majority of the fighting is. They make up the majority of the refugees, and they're fighting back against the Russians, as I saw firsthand, as most of the people around me were speaking Russian. But
and like, how is that even the rationale? Like, is the argument that Ukraine was holding Russian speakers against their will? Like, how is that even an argument?
The argument was that Ukraine, well, number one, this is historically Russian territory, so it's ours. Fuck you. That's one of the arguments. Okay. Sure. But the other argument is that Ukraine was oppressing and genociding Russian speakers.
Of course.
But The UN Secretary General says that's nonsense, and I respect his opinion on it. There's no evidence of genocide taking place whatsoever. What there were, and this is the one thing I will agree with, is that there were certain language laws in Ukraine. As we've said before, Ukrainian language has been historically suppressed, just like, for example, the Irish language was historically suppressed by the English. And so...
But the Irish language is very stupid, and that was the right move.
Yes. So, in Ukraine, they are taking certain policies in order to try to preserve the language as it, has historically faded away due to the suppression. And part of those laws are things like in government buildings, you have to speak Ukrainian first. And then if somebody speaks to you in another language, then you can speak to them. And they call that the oppression of the Russian language. Do I think the laws are silly? Maybe, but we need to understand the mentality what they were born in. Right? They were born out of this historical trauma of having their language banned, so they want to protect it. They're concerned about protecting their culture and history. But it certainly isn't a justification for a full-blown invasion. Not to mention, I would say, if anything's a lot closer to a genocide, it's the mass deportation, forced deportations of Ukrainians to Russia, what we saw with the mass executions of Bucha, not to mention the type of just denying of Ukrainian identity many Russian officials and Russian state media have done by saying, like, I think it was Dmitry Medvedev who said that, like, Ukraineness is a disease. There is no Ukraine. They're little Russians, right? Which is the same thing that the Turkish government has always said about Kurds. There's no such thing as Kurdish people. They're Mountain Turks. It's this downplaying of their individual identities.
Mountain Turk sounds very racist.
It does. It sounds like a slur.
It really does. Like, I would not feel good saying Mountain Turks.
What was?
I'm gonna say it a couple more times to get it.
What were those donos with the questions? Do we have them still?
I remember back in 2010. I made friends with this girl in at Burning Man. And she was Ukrainian, and we got into a really long conversation about like what Ukraine means, what Ukraine is, and like why she wasn't in Ukraine anymore, and like Russian aggression, And that was like my first clue that like there was something very distinctly different kind of fucking going on here. And none of this really surprises me. None of it surprises me that they were going to be like pouring into it. But I never in a million years thought it would be this overt. And I guess like, is that something? I guess that's a good question. Is that something that Ukrainians are they surprised that this happened, or did they kind of expect that this is going to happen?
They're surprised that it happened, but it's not like out of the realm of possibility. They didn't think higher of the Russian government. It's just they never thought they would actually go through with something this bold and brazen, which they did. Obviously to the mistakes of the Russian. It was obviously a huge strategic mistake.
Obviously it's a giant fuck up, but I think that's kind of shared with the world is like, it really did kind of feel like it came out of the blue. Like nobody really expected that all out total fucking war was going to be like in this day and age. It kind of feels like in this day and age, 2020, 2021, 2022, it feels like all out open fucking war is like an antiquated fucking concept.
It's a weird thing to say, but we're living in probably one of the most peaceful times in human history ever. And it doesn't feel that way just because you have more access to information and you've never lived in any other time in life besides your own, obviously.
Right.
But it is. Statistically, it is. And the most we see wars in the modern day. Now, there's other examples of like the Iraq War, for example. But most times what we see with wars today, it is inside a state conflict, as in a civil war that descends into chaos, or terrorism and a war against terrorism, or stuff like that. The biggest example, this is probably the first of its kind since something like, probably since Iraq. This is probably the first time we've seen something like.
I don't even know if I would like equate Iraq to this either, because Iraq was it's like an overwhelming force like storming into a country that cannot stand it.
No, yeah, no, comparing, I didn't mean it that way. I mean, this is the first time we've seen an invasion of this level of scale and war, like total war almost.
War.
But no, we won the war in Iraq in 28 days.
Yeah, one. But yeah, no, I agree. But I think that this is probably the first example of open war in a very long time, and it feels so anachronistic because like we enjoy this type of luxury in the West, where we see open war as kind of an antiquated concept, and here it's happening in real fucking time, and people don't. I don't think it's real for people.
Yeah, no, I agree. You're just like, wait, a country's invading another country in the 2020s? Get out of here.
You can even see it. You can see the fucking bodies. You can see the fucking bombs falling. You can see fucking people literally fucking shooting at each other, and it's real, and people are shocked by it.
Yeah.
They really don't quite understand, like, this is open fucking war, real fucking war. War is like actually happening. People fucking shooting each other, body parts being blown apart by fucking bombs, and I kind of feel like I don't know. I think that like maybe back in the day when World War II or Vietnam or whatever, I'm using contemporary like American examples and shit. We would only hear about this from like newsreels or newspapers, and we hear about it, and we see these films and like all this horrible stuff and bombs and whatever, and then you see like the legit cost of war. You see people die. You see people blown into pieces, and I don't think people still really fucking get it. And I don't think people can actually really get it until they're gonna.
Why don't you think they don't get it?
Because we're kind of insulated away from it. It's not us. It's not happening to us.
I felt like a lot of people were picking up on this war over like some of the most recent battles that have gone on. This one I felt like resonated stronger with people.
I mean, well, sure, it's white people. So.
That's why I mean that was the critique, right?
It isn't just white people. I think this is probably the most clear-cut like case of like who's the what's morally right and what's morally wrong here.
Yeah, it is. This one is pretty clear.
Strategic conflict.
Yeah, not a lot of gray area.
Very long time. I mean, there's like some other examples like Vietnam, right? That you could like point to historically, but there's very few. I would even make the argument that it's possible you could say this one's even more blatant, right? Definitely when the countries in question agreed to not give us your nukes. We will respect your territory, and then proceeds to it's like extremely fucking blatant. I think that for Americans, definitely Americans that I've met out here, is I feel like and I don't want to call this like a baptism, right? But I've been baptized in a way with this war that a lot of other war journalists that I've run into haven't been baptized. Okay. I'm with somebody called Patrick Hillsman. He was in Aleppo in Syria. So that means he has a similar idea, but most American war reporters or Americans' war perspective on a war is, I am in this base. I'm sitting here. The enemy is maybe a few miles that way. They're not going to bomb me. The Taliban doesn't have a fucking air force.
Right.
For what? The Iraqi army is going to bomb me? Fuck you. Yeah, no.
Right.
They can't do shit because our military we have the most powerful military that's ever been created by mankind ever. It's insane, right? And for a lot of Western reporters, this is the first time you've been in a situation where we don't have air superiority here. We're fighting the Russian army, right? We're fighting the Russian orcs. They don't have air superiority. It's contested, which is crazy that it's still contested at this point. Nobody thought it would be contested after like 72 hours. The Russians even claimed that they destroyed the entirety of Ukraine's air force in 48 hours. 1 month later, Ukraine's doing like raid operations within Russian territory. But I think for a lot of people, this is the first time for like the West is like being able to like display in 4K with social media, with everything, what it's like to be invaded by a foreign power, a dominant foreign power. And a lot of American volunteers over here are experiencing what it's like to not have air superiority for the first time, and that shit's scary. When I was on the front lines, so there was 2 days I went to the front line. The first day, it was a little bit less action, so I'm going to talk about the second day. The second day, I'm told, like, hey, Dylan, and this is something that still fucks with me. This probably fucks with me more than anything else. They're like, I'm putting on my level 4 body armor, which is supposed to stop like rifle rounds. Like it's supposed to stop basically everything. Put on my helmet, and I have this little press patch on it because I'm press, right? But the Ministry of Defense of Ukraine has recognized me as press. I have a press card. I have all the credentials, right? I'm legit, okay? Not a war tourist. And they look at me and they say, take off that press badge. I'm like, what? What do you mean take off the Velcro press badge, the reflective stuff? They're like, take it off. What do you mean? Take it off. I need to be I'm wearing green camo because I need to match him with the environment, right? And I'm like, what do you mean take it off? They won't, besides the cameras, that's the only thing identifying me as pressed. And they're like, it's reflective. I'm like, yeah, you're supposed to see it. That's the point, because you want to see the press badge. No, you don't get it. They don't care if you're pressed, Dylan. They don't give a fuck. If anything, that'll just make you stand out because it's shiny. Take it off. And so I had to take off the press badge, and the only thing identifying me personally as press is that there was usually a camera pointed at me and I had a microphone in my hand. That was it. I had to take that off because that's a reality I think most like Americans would never really have to contest with, because if you're a war reporter, you're like in some room that's protected by the Air Force, and you've got like a really powerful armed guard. Where when I got to the front line in a van that kept breaking down during the trip, it broke down when we were 1 mile from Russian positions, and we had to push the van. That's like the level we're dealing with here. Ukraine is like the ultimate underdog in this scenario, and I think for a lot of Americans, we don't have a frame of reference for that because we've never been born into a world where we've never been the most powerful.
We've always been the top. Yeah,
we've always been the top.
We are still the top, right? Like,
but we're still at the top. Yes.
Yeah.
But it's like Ukraine isn't the top.
Exactly.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
Right.
We had a couple dono questions. There was one earlier that said, hey, Dylan, what's up with the Russian ruble? Is there legitimate concern that Russia demands payment in rubles like the petrodollar?
So this is probably one of the most interesting points, because I hear a lot that sanctions aren't hurting Russia because look at the ruble. Now, if that was the case, the first thing I would say, then why does Russia want to remove the sanctions so bad? If they aren't hurting Russia, why do they want to remove the sanctions? The second thing I would say is the Russian economy is going to contract by 15%. 15%. People like, oh, the German economy is going to contract by 3%, or they'll bring up numbers like that. 15% is fucking massive. We're talking about shortages of goods that are being imported into the country. That the ruble at the place it is right now, that people brag about, it's artificial. The state is working and pulling every level it can, every lever of power they can to see how long they can keep it artificially where it is, so they can have some value in their own currency.
Yeah, didn't I just read something about Russia? Didn't I just read something about Russia defaulting on their foreign debt? For
They defaulted on their foreign debt
1918 or something. Yeah.
Yes, it was inevitable that was going to happen. We just didn't know when it was going to happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, it makes them look like a less reliable business partner to invest your business in, but we all kind of knew it was coming, so it's not like a huge change or anything. But it is notable. The Russian economy is being battered. The Ukrainian economy is being more battered, obviously, because they're the country that's getting invaded. And that's the thing that always gets me, is people come to me and they're like, Dylan, what about the poor Russian economy? What about how this isn't right? This is morally wrong. The Ukrainian economy is getting hurt 5 times harder than the Russian economy, because the Russian economies have fuck, we can't get an investment. That sucks. Ukrainians are getting fuck, my business blew up. It's gone. there's a difference of severity here.
Got hit by
I got hit by a missile.
I work on a U.S. base in Germany. Every year there is an anti-war movement called Stop Rammstein. I looked up what they thought of Ukraine. They are pro-Russia now. What?
That's the thing, is a lot of these I'm against the war in Iraq. I'm against Vietnam. I think we should stop supporting the Saudis and this disgusting war in Yemen and all these things. A lot of people, I feel like when they say they're anti-war, they're anti-American war. They're anti-Americans doing shit. They're not anti-war. They're just anti-Americans being involved in a foreign conflict.
Pedantic.
If the Russians do it, who cares?
Yeah. No, I agree. Look, hey, Dylan, I have so much, immense amount of respect for what you're doing. I really fucking do. And it's pretty fucking badass. I'm glad, like, I had my whole last thing today. I'm glad I got a chance to just drop in and tell you that you are doing some fucking amazing work. And I have respect for you, man. And keep it up. I hope you stay safe. And, you know, I don't know how long you're going to be over there, but as long as you're over there, I know you're going to be doing great fucking work, okay?
Thank you. I appreciate that a lot, man. By the way, where do you live? Are you free sharing that information?
Yeah, Eugene, Oregon. Anytime you want to come over and we'll go camping when you're.
Can I get your home address?
When you're done being a war correspondent, come over to the Pacific.
Come over to Oklahoma.
Nah, come over to the Pacific Northwest. We'll go camping. We'll have a great time, man.
Camping? Hey, look, okay, I think I've slept in enough.
I was gonna say, I think Dylan wants to sleep in a house.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Dude,
you know,
I missed curfew. I had to sleep in a gas station in a war zone. It wasn't great.
Fine. You know what? You come over here. I'll put you up in a fucking great ass fucking hotel. We'll go on wine tours. Ooh.
Wine tours. Ooh, wow.
Yeah.
Fancy schmancy.
All right, I'm gonna get out of here. I love you, DP fam.
Have
Love
a
you
good night,
guys.
Jeff.
Good night, Jeff.
See you, Jeff.
Good night, guys.
We had another question from the guy that asked about the rubles. He says Russia seems to be pivoting towards economic war instead of boots on the ground war. Can Ukraine survive that? And I think you got into that a little bit with the.
Yeah, I think Ukraine is getting battered more, but the WTO and Western backers seem to be putting a lot of financial power behind Ukraine. Honestly, economically, I think Ukrainians are much more willing to put up with it in the long haul than the physical violence. And I know they're willing to put up with the physical violence in order to secure their national liberation. Russians, though, like Ukrainians, it's very easy to make the argument as to why, to a Ukrainian, why they should continue the struggle, right? Remember Bucha. Remember what they did in Irpin. Remember Hostomel Airport. Remember the train station bombings. Remember the last 8 years. Remember the slaughters and what they did to us historically. This is our independence war. This is our war to finally gain our independence. And so the economic hardship, the war, all of it's going to be worth it if we can secure our safety and independence in the long run, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You go to a Russian, what's your pitch? Why should they have to feel a 15% contract in their economy and have cross-border bombings from the Ukrainian army? Why? Why is it that they should be banned from going to all these countries and their like all their McDonald's and favorite restaurants and shit are all getting closed down? What's the argument? Well,
it's a tougher sell.
You see, there's these Banderites in Ukraine, and they're fascists and they're Nazis, and we need to stop them from genociding the Russians. Oh, they're genociding the Russians. I never heard of this. Is there any evidence?
Well,
like it's just the pitch, because it's not affecting their daily lives the same way that the Russian aggression is affecting Ukrainians' daily lives. And so, like, if you like your pitch to a Ukrainian is, if you win, the bombing's gonna stop, the historical oppression's gonna stop, all this stuff is gonna stop. To the average Russian, the pitch is really just like patriotic drum beating. It feels very much like Vietnam.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like Ukraine's Vietnam and Russia's America.
Go America!
I thought Ukraine were the good guys, because America were clearly the good guys in Vietnam. Vietnam was getting all wild and out and acting a fool, and Kissinger and
how do you suspect Russia acts?
Nixon had to get
Putin
there
kicks
and
the bucket via
put a stop to
cancer
that.
or whatever he has. Also, that facial hair makes Dylan even more handsome.
What are you trying to be even more handsome, Dylan? What the hell?
Thank you. I appreciate it. But I'm not in an attractive state right now, man. I stink like a motherfucker. Okay?
You look like you stink.
Really
That doesn't mean you're not fuckable.
That's true. Man Musk is something that I do find attractive. But I need to shave. I need to shave all of this off. I need to. I'm sick of it.
I don't need to shave, do I? Be honest, guys.
There's an appeal to it.
Behind the balls.
You kind of look like one of those like foreign like volunteers in ISIS that appeared in those propaganda videos.
That's what I was going for.
I was going to say it's
Thank
almost
you.
wizard-like at this point.
I think we're approaching wizard levels. Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a clever way to mix whiskers with wizard, and it's
Whiskers.
It's just not. I don't know if it's there.
It's a nice idea on paper.
Yeah, my COVID brain won't allow me to do anything
COVID
next
brain
level.
is real. COVID fog.
Yeah, no, I had an IQ of about 40 for a week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can I just say, not a lot of masks out here. Gotta say, a lot of people not respecting the public safety, not wearing masks. It's very sad, man.
It's because I
wonder what the vaccination rate is out there.
I heard
they
they're
don't
like
give
our
a
Nazis.
fuck, man. They don't give a fuck about the fucking mask and COVID for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
You remember when the BLM summer broke out here, and
2 years ago,
and everybody was out without their masks, and
I didn't go.
And the CDC was like, "It's a little more important for human freedom than it is to stay away from COVID." That was their big tagline. They're like, "It's okay to march."
Can you imagine telling all the like performative BLM people at the time, like, look, I know this sounds crazy, but in 2 years, you will not say one thing about BLM and you will be supporting Ukraine like you wouldn't believe.
I'm gonna be a little contrarian with you.
Hit me.
I hate that fucking argument so much because I see that, you know, the NBC meme where they take the chip out of the head, they replace it with one thing, they replace it with the next thing, be like BLM, then it'll be fucking like Ukraine, all that.
I don't know any memes, but sure.
Okay, so this is like you talking about Frasier to me.
Exactly.
Imagine saying that with like, God, everybody was about the Great Depression. Now everybody's like, oh, what about this Holocaust? Like, what the fuck? Like, why? What happened to the Great Depression?
Pick a lane, guys.
Like, pick a lane. Like, it's like this is how like issues come up, and you want to resolve the issue. Then another issue comes up, and then you want to resolve that issue. It's like that's how history works. I don't know. Like, people
that's
are so
fair.
angry about it.
That's why I made a point of saying performative BLM people, because none of them actually care about anything. They just jump on the next thing that makes them look good on Twitter. I'm not talking about people that actually care about like doing good in the world.
Well, of course. I just think like a lot of people just like I feel like a lot of people they see other people taking a stance on an issue, and they're annoyed by the existence of people like taking a stance on an issue, like just like supporting it and getting involved in it. And so I don't know what it is, why people are so angry about somebody caring about one issue, then all of a sudden everybody cares about the next issue. I don't know what the anger is.
Did the original issue go away though?
No, but I think that like certain issues, I think a lot of it is just other issues come up, and so that's going to get a lot more coverage because that's the new thing, right? But the problem isn't that somebody now cares about the new issue. The problem is now that the last issue might get a little bit less attention, right?
Yeah. I agree with that.
I think people shouldn't care about anything.
Billy, now you're speaking my language.
So you're a big boxing fan, right? Like you said, you trained in boxing.
I'm a huge boxing fan. Yeah, I boxed in high school.
I had no idea Vitaly Klitschko was the mayor of Kyiv until all this started.
Yep. So Vitaly Klitschko and Vladimir Klitschko have both been deeply involved in politics in Ukraine. They're like definitely during the war. Alexander Usyk, who is the unified heavyweight champion of the world, fucking literally was like, I'm dropping the belts and I'm going to join the army. He just was like, fuck it. Lomachenko, that was on the line too for Lomachenko, who's another famous Ukrainian boxer. Ukraine produces so many good boxers.
Yeah.
I love boxing, man. This is a great country to love boxing. Same with Poland, even though Poland never produced a heavyweight champion. And so
never will.
It should have been Andrew Golota. He won that fight.
Golota with a low blow. Good times.
But I don't know what it... Dude, the celebrities in Ukraine are fucking insane. How they've just like all like like clipped onto the wall. Could you imagine that happening in the United States? Like you see like American celebrities. Like, could you imagine like Will Smith being like, I joined the army, and then he's just mowing down.
Kind of like how Elvis did.
Only if Putin made fun of Will Smith's wife, he might join. You know.
That's true. If Putin said some shit about Jada, then all bets are off.
Yeah.
Well, Will Smith would join the CIA and just go poison Putin.
Will Smith is in the CIA. Shh. Uh-oh.
He's the Men in Black.
True.
Yeah, it's just wild, but yeah, I mean, the boxers, I guess, are more to be expected because they're fighters, you know. I guess they're fighters. They kind of work in fighting. This is another type of fighting in a way.
But it really is something that, like, the heavyweight champion of the world is just like, I'm joining the army. Like, I'm
joining the army. He was actually convinced by the government not to do it because they said he could do better for Ukraine
as like an ambassador,
as an ambassador fighting, basically, which I thought was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's who you should get an interview with Vitaly Klitschko.
Remember Patrick Tillman?
Yeah, he was killed by friendly fire, so they say.
Yeah. That was a sad
you can
story.
Be baby when your facial hair makes you look like Cro-Magnon Ron Weasley.
Oh, fuck, Scott. They called you Cro-Magnon Ron Weasley. Like, how do you tear
Ron Weasley
apart...
has red hair. It's not even accurate.
Well, they think you have red hair is the thing.
Well, then adjust your fucking computer color settings, dum-dum.
Can I ask you guys a question?
Yeah.
And I'm going to ask you guys this question because I think you're the worst person I could ask this question to.
Yeah, man, I hear that set up for questions so often. What is that?
So, this is a very strange line of work I've involved myself in, right? Very strange. Not a lot of people do what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that as like to jerk myself off. I'm just saying there's a lot of people who aren't stupid enough to do what I'm doing, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And there's like a weird fulfillment I get from going to these places that I'm going to that are quite dangerous, right? That are quite like they're places most journalists wouldn't go to. And I get a weird fulfillment out of it. In fact, there's even a question of like, I do get some amount of a rush out of like doing these things. At the time, it's terrifying, but afterwards, there's like this deep sense of satisfaction. Like I did this motherfucking shit. And it's incredible. It's an incredible feeling, but it's also it's weird to talk about because it feels weird to say like, man, that was a great report, and you just got back from like almost getting blown up by a fucking artillery piece because it makes you sound sadistic and psychotic. So, do you think it's like it's important to be actually insane in this line of work?
Now,
probably a little bit. I mean, I not that it's at all an apples to apples comparison, but the way you were describing it, like doing a kind of crazy dangerous thing and then coming back from it and like having kind of a rush from it, like it's the only comparative thing I have is like doing some dumb shit in a wrestling match, like doing some like top rope to floor move through 6 open chairs and like looking down at those chairs from the top rope. It's pretty scary. And then you do it and it's okay. And you finish the match and get back and you're like on this crazy adrenaline high. And you're like, that was pretty fucking sick.
Yeah. And
it's weird.
Yeah.
It's weird because I've noticed that war journalists are incredibly self-destructive right after they do something crazy. What I mean is like I'll see them like go do some crazy shit on the front lines and then they'll come back and then they'll like just start like drunk driving. And they wouldn't drunk drive every other day, but then that one day right after they do it, they drunk drive, and it's so weird. It's like as if they're just like, how much can I fit in today?
Well,
how much can I just like be
once
close
you
to
escape
them?
the odds,
how much
once
can I spit in God's
you want to keep it rolling,
exactly.
right?
The thing about Scott is he talks about these moves where he's scared to do them, but then he breaks his arm doing a move that he wasn't scared of doing at all.
That's true.
That's the thing is I'm pretty sure if I die, it's not going to be from anything I was expecting. It's going to be like I was just like I'm sitting in my apartment like I'm right now and a rocket just hits me and I'm dead. Like I'm within rocket range right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like it is completely possible that a rocket and like rockets have exploded over this building. Like it could happen.
You might be crazy, but you're not like stupid crazy, right? You're taking all the precautions that you can. You're doing everything.
I wear my seatbelt when I drunk drive. I'm kidding. Yeah, no, but I'm taking safety precautions. Yeah, I'm doing what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, so it's like there's this air of like you want to be crazy because you want to take the good risks, right? But you don't want to be stupid. You're not taking the bad risks. I think it's pretty.
I think a lot of it is also that I want to go out and I want to do more because I need that work to distract myself from what I've already done and like really sitting down and being like, oh yeah, that moment when I was spotted by a Russian drone, like I could have died at any, like I could have easily died there, like unbelievably easily died.
Do you feel like you have a need to chase content?
That's the thing too. It feels less about chasing content and more about just being as deeply involved with this as I can be.
Yeah.
To be quite frank, like I feel almost like a personal kind of like commitment to like doing this, right?
Yeah.
Like right now, I'm just kind of sitting here waiting for like us to get the okay for another story I want to go out and do. And I feel more invested in like doing that, even if I just gave it to CNN and not even for my own channel, because I want to do it. I want to like record these stories so that they're out there, they're permanently out there, and they're done. And I want to be involved in some way. Honestly, if I couldn't be involved through doing what I'm doing now, there's a decent chance I would have joined some other organization like an ambulance org or something and been an aid worker who goes to the front lines and does the same stuff anyway.
Yeah.
What is this question Chesh keeps asking in the chat?
6 inches, Chesh.
I'm going to read it verbatim. Okay, but at Drunken Peasants, how is not getting bombed a patriotic issue? ?
How is getting invaded a patriotic issue?
How is not getting bombed a patriotic issue? Those are the words that were typed.
She's Canadian, so Scott, you'll have to.
I disavow her.
Whoa! I think I was gonna have you translate.
I think if she's asking how does getting bombed make you a patriot, from what I've heard Ukrainians explain to me, is that this united trauma of being a Ukrainian and having this kind of united history and experience that other people can't relate to, right? That nobody else can relate to the 8 years of terror they've specifically experienced in the Donbass and the terror they're experiencing right now. And what they see is when they walk around, they see like another Ukrainian and they'll like kind of like nod their head like we're in this shit together kind of. Is this kind of uniting factor of like, we're going through this trauma together, we're going through this shit, we're gonna get through this shit, we've been through a lot already, we can ride to the end of this tide. So I think that's a sense of patriotism, this kind of united front, this united Ukrainian front, this united Ukrainian society, which all united at the exact same time, at the right time, for them to actually break the nose. And that's the thing, they didn't bloody the nose of the Russian invaders, they broke the nose of the Russian invaders. I mean, that invasion was disastrous. I really hope that historians cover every detail about how botched their invasion was, but it could have still worked if it wasn't due to stiff Ukrainian resistance.
It's definitely no shock and awe.
The Russians stuffed, it definitely was no shock and awe.
Yeah.
The Russians stuffed their parade uniforms into their armored vehicles. You could find burnt up Russian parade uniforms.
Oh, they were
in these
so
places.
psyched about it.
They
They're
were
like, we
so
fucking got
psyched.
this.
They really thought they did. They told a lot of their soldiers they were going into a training exercise, man. They didn't have the logistics set up. They didn't have the MRE set up. They didn't have shit, man. But it was also due to brilliant Ukrainian tactics when it comes to running and gunning and ambushing them. I mean, remember when there was this 10-mile long Russian convoy outside of Kiev, and how like everybody was like, man, I mean, Ukraine's doing okay, but 10-mile long Russian convoy, that shit, what happened to that? It literally it got blown up. It got destroyed, and the remnants of it went back into Russia and then was redeployed somewhere else with most of the battalion tactical group dead. Like, it's fucking crazy, man. Like, what happened there? And I really hope historians take the time to be like, yeah, these motherfuckers dug in the red forests of Chernobyl and got radiation sickness and then had to be taken out. 900 had to be taken out. Like, this dumbass just behavior of the Russians, just meeting the beauty of Western strategy in Ukraine of like training them over the last 8 years. They really learned. I would say this is also the first truly viral war as well.
It seems that way.
Yeah.
I can't think of another one.
Yeah,
Like Iraq,
in terms
we
of
just didn't have
where
social media.
Social media was at. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the social media has more
I like
interest
how
in this
when
war, like
Scoot talks,
because it's not in like the
entire
Middle East,
top
which
half
people are
of his
used to.
head bobbles around like the stream release on a pressure cooker.
Oh. That was a South Park reference, right?
Rude.
Some people are saying Syria was. I would say Syria was the prototype, but this is the master version of the viral
bigger.
war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was seeing stuff on TikTok.
Shut the fuck up.
From Ukraine, you know, like that's how you knew something was going on
When
they
you
got
see
the
like
TikTok
Ukrainian
baddies.
girls giving instructions on how to like drive a Russian tank.
Yeah. You're like, okay, these Ukrainian baddies are teaching me how to steal tanks. This is viral.
Yeah, the only viral thing
there was a short period of time where I thought I might steal a Russian BMP.
I like that.
There was basically like I was told by a friend of a friend of a friend that there was a Russian BMP stuck in a minefield, and so they were trying to see if we could steal it and take it out and give it to the Ukrainian army. Nothing ever came of it, and I don't know if I would have done it anyway because that's some crazy dangerous shit. But then again, I think about it, I'm like, the story though, the fucking story, and it still makes my hair stand on end just thinking about it.
Yeah, I got caught up in the everything that was going on. I stole some Russian salad dressing.
Damn, you're a patriot.
Yeah,
Stole some Smirnoff.
Yeah, some Russian Standard. I ran out with a bottle of Russian Standard. It's no big deal. Had some pickles to chase it. It was nice.
You steal some pierogies?
I wouldn't steal pierogies.
No? Oh.
No,
Too sacred.
I get a good deal on them.
He has too much respect for the pierogi.
Yeah, pierogies are delicious pastries. Savory.
Here's a funny story. You know how people talk about the Ukrainian far right all the time, right? You know, the Nazis in Ukraine, all that. Now, the people everybody talks about is Azov, yeah? So, Azov, I've met Azov guys. Most of them are not that scary. There are scary people within Azov, but most of them are not that scary. I would say maybe like 5% to 10% are like actual fascists, right? And those people are fucking terrible. But Azov is kind of like, since 2014, since when they were involved in like organized crime and like football hooliganism, they've largely been kind of, their reputation has turned into like they're like an elite group. But still, I don't like the fact that it has those very hardcore nationalist roots, and it has like in the fact that they allow Nazis in at all, right? I don't like that. A group that scares me more than them is an organization called Right Sector. Because if you're in right sector, if you're in the right sector, military or group, you are far right. There's no like, oh, I'm here because they're an elite battalion. You're here because you're like a prison gang member who like the Aryan nation of fucking Ukraine. You know what I mean? And I've met these people before. They're a lot scarier, right? But I found their offices in Lviv, and they were blasting like fascist music out the window. And I'm looking at them. And there's just one building. It's their office in Lviv. It sticks out. They got like armed guys out there. It's like really intimidating. And I look, and directly in front of it, staring this fucking building down, is just a kebab shop with a bunch of workers. And there was more people eating kebabs than going into their building. And so I just saw the kebab shop staring down this far right building. It was this fantastical image, and I need to get a picture of it. I need to.
They probably eat kebab.
Maybe.
They're not too far right for kebab.
You can't be too far right for kebab.
No.
If I was a Nazi, I'd want kebab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As a Nazi, I want kebab right now.
As a Nazi.
Is that as a Nazi Jew? Or Ashkenazi Jew?
Ashkenazi Jew.
Ashkenazi,
Yeah,
is that
that's
what
a
it's
bummer
called?
that Ashkenazi Jew literally has Nazi in the name. That's a tough one.
I know.
Yeah. Sorry, guys.
It's not that
Big
bad.
L. Big L for Ashkenazi Jews out there.
I feel like this is like
Sorry,
when kids would
Alana
bring up,
Glazer.
I remember kids in class bringing up like Niger, you know, like Niger.
Oh.
and they
A
would look
classic.
at me and they would.
And of course, that Germany versus Niger soccer game.
No, I'm not familiar.
Oh, well, you see.
Oh no.
In the World Cup, all the different countries play each other in soccer.
Yes.
And on the television broadcast,
they only use
they identify each country by the first 3 letters in the country. So Niger played Germany. And you see
the problem is that Niger only had the first 3 letters, and then Germany on the score was next to it, and they had their first 3 letters, which is GER. So when it spelled out together, it read.
What did it spell?
It read the N word, which is horrible.
Thanks,
yeah. It read out the N word.
So the way they resolved that was by changing Niger's shortening to NGR, which actually doesn't feel much better, but you do what you can.
Oof. Oh my God, it's brutal.
When I was a kid, we didn't watch sports, so that was never a problem. We beat racism in its tracks.
We were a no sports house.
Yeah.
No sports. Football. I grew up liking the Washington Redskins with the rest of my family.
Washington Redskins, Cleveland Indians, Atlanta Braves, all the hits.
I used to live in Albuquerque, and there's a huge native population there, and I knew a bunch of native people where the Redskins were legitimately their favorite football team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my grandmother once told me, and I would talk to her like, I mean, but this shit is a slur, Grandma. And she'd be like, I met a Native American in Arizona during a hot air balloon ride, and she told me it was okay. And I'm just like, okay, it's very nice for her. But
she gave the pass.
Grandma,
she didn't speak for everybody, but that is, you know what, that story is likely true because they love hot air balloon rides out in the desert. That is true.
They do.
It's like catnip to them.
I wonder if there's a person out there who specifically supports football team by which logo and mascot is more racist overall.
It would be crazy. I mean, like, and what would the odds be of one of those people being in this chat right now?
Big fan of the Atlanta Black Crackers.
I was just gonna say that. Yeah. There was a baseball team back in the day called the Atlanta Black Crackers.
There sure was.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
What was their mascot?
Oh, you wouldn't believe.
I don't know what their mascot was.
I think it's better if you don't know.
I know. Now that I'm looking it up, I feel like I'm going to go on a watch list.
It was just a color-swapped Ritz. It was fine.
Oh, my goodness.
They shortened it to the Atlanta ABCs eventually.
The ABCs of racism.
Stupid. Why?
Cooler heads prevailed.
Sometimes it would just say crackers on their...
Okay, so I will say one thing about Eastern Europe. Oh my God, the anti-Semitism. Holy shit.
Oh, I believe it. But isn't the president of Ukraine, isn't he Jewish?
Yes, but it's like casual, like not like, it's not the anti-Semitism of like kill all the Jews. It's like the anti-Semitism of like, oh I got this great banker, right? It's that type of anti-Semitism.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying?
Good lawyer.
Here's a good example. Yeah, I've got a good lawyer type, like anti-Semitism. A good example of this is I remember I was in one of these like little side shops and I was just like buying glasses or buying something. I forget what it was. And I look at the shelf and I see these little figurines, and these little figurines have the dreadlock things that the Jewish community has with the big like the
Hasidic Jews.
Hat, the Hasidic Jews. They're in the whole get up, and they're holding Ukrainian coins. They're just holding money. And they call them lucky Jews.
As they do.
And these little lucky Jews were for sale. And I couldn't bring myself to buy one, but I almost wanted to buy one for just the historical purposes.
They carry it like a rabbit's foot, basically.
Yes, like like a Jewish rabbit's foot. Yes.
Huh.
And it's just a Jew holding a coin. Like the coin makes up like half his body, and he looks so happy to have a coin.
It's a good coin.
That's fun. That's fun for everyone.
It's fun for certain people. I guess for me, like that type of anti-Semitism is just like, it really slaps me in the face because in America, like it's become more and more taboo to be that type of like racist or anti-Semitic. But in a lot of parts of the world, they just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, it's there's almost something endearing about like Eastern European and Asian African, even some Western European anti-Semitism. It's very much not the
It's
same.
endearing.
Like
Anti-Semitism is endearing.
Well, no, the
Drunken Peasant podcast quote.
The way they do it is endearing is definitely the wrong word, by the way. But it's adorable how they just like go for it and don't give a shit, where it has to be much more insidious than in the U.S.
Is adorable supposed
your
to be
movie
better?
Sucks. Do you hang out with anti-Semites recently on the Drunken Peasants podcast?
What's that?
Nothing. I'm just.
Oh, he's
I'm just gonna
tweeting at
message your
Adam
movie
right
sucks.
now.
Yeah, I'm just telling him that he works with anti-Semites. Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
Fantastic. But it was just strange because I don't know. They just didn't give a fuck. And I see a lot of examples of that everywhere. I know in the American South there was like these like dolls that are like these imitations of black people. That was always the example I knew of growing up because I saw it. I saw it.
Yeah. When you were talking about like the thing with the coin, that's what I thought of as like the American equivalent.
Yeah, what are they called? Gollywugs?
Or
no, that's what the British do. That's the British version.
That's British. Sambo dolls, I think.
Oh my god.
Yes, that's what they're called.
Yeah.
Yes.
There used to be a chain of restaurants in the United States called Sambos, and they were everywhere.
Were they any good?
I've never eaten there.
They were good. Yeah, they were great.
The last one ever that closed down, it closed down in 2020.
Yeah, they were good enough to last.
They made it to 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was gonna be like 1975.
And it wasn't in Alabama. It was actually in Southern California, where the last one was. Yeah.
So you're telling me that chain of restaurants almost outlived Roe versus Wade?
Yeah.
Damn.
Damn.
That's rough.
The brutal reality you live in.
Are we gonna get Uber for abortions? Is that gonna be a thing? now?
Abortions?
Ooh. Abortions. Ben, very nice.
Yeah, thank you.
That was nice.
Is that gonna be the answer? Someone just drives up to your house and kicks you in the fucking stomach?
Someone completely unqualified to do it, too.
Yeah. I mean, who's really qualified to kill a baby? Doctors? Not anymore. It's got to be some schmuck with a fucking Uber driver license.
Well, it's certainly not doctors. They murdered all the abortion doctors, so we're out of them.
Oh no.
So we're gonna have to go to the next tier, I guess.
Maybe dentists. They have enough sharp objects.
That's true.
Maybe we can have a party
but
game.
they go in through the mouth, so it's very inconvenient.
Oh no.
Are you being an anti-dentite?
You're being a bit of an anti-dentite, and if you had watched Seinfeld, you'd know that reference.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It comes full
All
circle.
my colleagues are so old. Everybody I work with is like in their 30s, man.
Yeah, we're really
I just
Well, I'm
turned
not in my
40.
30s. That's
I just turned
ridiculous.
41 this year.
I'm 17.
Wow.
I'm just an old
Yeah.
soul.
Ben, you could be my father.
I might be.
Let's not rule it out.
To be clear, when I was born, you could drink.
Yeah. Well, I was drinking already before that, but
Me too, not by choice.
that's a good one. Oh man.
I was wondering what
Me too.
ethnicity you were, Dylan. I didn't realize it was fetal alcohol syndrome.
Actually, my mother was a heroin addict when she was pregnant
Oh.
with me. She shut up dope.
That's not as funny of a joke. So
Yeah.
I like to laugh at fetal alcohol syndrome, not crack babies.
Well, it wasn't crack; it was heroin.
Heroin, baby.
Yeah, it's
Billy,
not
get it
crack.
right.
It's not crack.
You know,
It's not the same thing.
I like a cocktail.
I do not know how I didn't get any damage from that whatsoever. There was like a lengthy discussion in the family, like, you know, if you have these kids, this baby's gonna be retarded, and like, I mean, I ended up being a Democrat, so they were right, but like, not,
Like they weren't all the way.
Was she shooting it up, or was she like snorting it?
shooting.
Yeah, that is surprising that there was. I mean, you might have been born addicted to it, though. More than
Not that
likely.
I know of. If that is the case, I've not been told. But as
You
far
just
as I
got
know,
addicted to it later in life?
No, not yet. A little bit longer out here, maybe.
Yeah, give it time.
I'm biting my tongue not to say a horrible.
I want to
horrible
float
joke.
around in a heroin womb.
A heroin womb?
Yeah. Damn.
Billy, let's get that bad joke.
It was really bad.
Warm blanket on
You
top
gotta
of
do
a
it.
warm
It
blanket.
wasn't even funny bad. It was like pathetic bad.
Well, look, we've built it up too much to not say it. So
If just say it now, I'm
then
looking
if he
at a
says it and
buffoon.
it's not good, then
It's no, it wasn't
it's gonna be a
good.
bummer.
It wasn't good. It was never good. I was biting my tongue because it was so bad.
Shouldn't have mentioned it.
Well, I mentioned it now just to fuck with you guys because I have to hold it in. You guys have to not have it too.
Do it.
Do it.
Do it.
I mean,
Do it.
Hey, now we're at
50%.
50%.
Do it. And now you're
Cheers.
50%. Now you have to do it.
Don't say you could have just not said anything and we wouldn't even care.
I know.
That's the
Did it
thing.
involve
when you say
Nigeria
out
and
loud,
Germany?
the thing is, anytime someone says, I was going to say something, but I'm not gonna, when you're really saying is, ask me about it so I have permission to say it so I can be
Exactly.
excused if it's really bad.
Yes.
Definitely not.
You're just trying to couch it in some sort of plausible deniability. Just say your fucking thing.
No, it was really bad.
We're waiting for you to say it.
I know you are.
Yeah. Because, like, when you say, I'm going to say something, but I'm not going to, that statement is saying
Are
something.
you ready for how pathetic and terrible it was?
Yeah, I'm
You're
ready.
all gonna fucking groan and
I
probably
know.
you're gonna want to hit me.
So is it bad as in not funny or
Yeah,
bad?
it's not funny at all.
Oh, I thought you meant it was
thought
going to
it
be
was
like offensive.
No, not
yeah.
offensive at
I was
all.
getting excited.
No, it was really bad.
Okay, go. Do it.
You're just bad at jokes?
Yes, that's why I was biting
You're
my
just
tongue.
now figuring that out?
I love saying bad jokes. This one was so bad that I'm biting my tongue not to say this terrible joke because it's so bad.
Well, we better hear it.
Dylan was talking about being a heroin baby.
Okay.
I was gonna say, maybe that's why you're so dope.
You know what? That's a nice piece of business. Everybody's happy.
Okay.
Look, that's great.
Okay. Satisfied.
Look, what were we worried about?
Satisfied. I need a cigarette. I'm so satisfied.
What a treat that was.
Kill me.
You're too hard on yourself. That was great. See? Chat loves it. Said it's cute.
Yeah.
It seems like a number of people have unsubscribed, but that's okay.
The fan chat is booing you.
You'll get him. You'll get him back.
Yeah, it's all right. No, I knew that was coming. That's why I wasn't gonna say anything. I was gonna say that. I was gonna say anything.
Guys, leave him alone. He's almost
COVID
dead.
break,
Yeah.
guys. COVID break.
We're giving each other double COVID in this room right now.
I like how you're just passing it back and
Yeah.
forth.
Yeah.
You're
Well,
both gonna have it like 8
I
times.
thought we would do everything from home, and then when I stayed home yesterday, Bill was like, "I thought you were gonna come in." I was like, "Oh,
Well, that's because you didn't say anything, so I didn't know.
So I was like, "I guess we're okay coming in."
I am okay. with it.
Yeah, I was like,
I'll
let's
get
do
double.
double
You guys have a
COVID.
studio?
Yeah, we're in the same room. Yeah.
Yeah, if I
Yeah, we
if I didn't
on
have COVID, I could
episode
kiss Ben.
episode 1000. No, wait. Episode 1000, we had a whole bunch of people in here. We had Scott, we had our friend Hannibal and Monty, we had Vosh in here. Adam, yeah, yep.
We invited you,
Whole bunch of people.
but you were
Young Jeff
busy.
Holiday.
Yeah,
I was
Jeff.
in a war zone, yes.
Yep.
Yes.
No, it was before that. It was before
yeah, it was
war.
the day
Yeah.
the war started that
It was
we had
the-
It
everybody
was
here.
literally the day the war started.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
Okay, damn.
Episode 1000, the day the
It was
war
back in
started.
February. Yeah, that's how we were hit. Because, like, I've only hung out with Vosh twice, and the night before we all met up down at some bar, and Vosh was like, "Oh shit, I gotta go," because he was gonna go cover the bombings and everything. Another thing I learned about Vosh is he does not feel cold.
XXXXXXX.
Vosh showed up.
Yeah, he was a real shorts and winter guy.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys about something? I want to ask you something about Vosh's
Yes, he's
character
reptilian.
traits, okay.
What?
I'm gonna ask you about his frontal lobe quickly. Okay.
Okay.
So
Go.
when I've met Vosh a few times in person. Wait, how many times have I met him in person? I've met him in person maybe once or twice. I forget exactly how many. But he speaks in a very particular way.
Yes.
The way he speaks, and it's constant and all the time. The way he speaks on stream is the way he speaks in person.
He's consistent.
He's very. My mode of communicating with people is very patternistic. It goes in a certain way. I don't want you to bring up such frivolous topics to me. It's like every word is like perfectly spaced out.
He speaks in iambic pentameter.
Exactly. He speaks in a very specific way. Like if you tap the first time he says a word and you start tapping, he's going to talk to that tap, to that beat, the entire conversation. And the words he's going to use is going to be like He's not going to say I'm mad. He's going to say I'm perturbed.
You're right.
And
You've
like when he
learned.
thinks of things too, you'll see him. He won't think of things just like looking at you. He'll be like, "Yes, I'm perturbed." He'll like look away and like look back to you to like answer to, like a question if he goes into deep thought. It's like he almost has to shake himself out of it. The way he communicates, I mean, none of these are negative things. It's just
You're right.
communicates in a very interesting way.
Is it
right?
is it his tisms?
I was about to say
It is tism related.
I think it is. I think he communicate. I think a lot of this might have to do with autism. I don't want to speak on his behalf, but like I was thinking, like I remember thinking, like, I didn't notice that before when I met him in person, because it was just consistent between him communicating on stream and him communicating off stream.
Yeah. Now that you mention it, because I have not examined his mannerisms that closely, you're completely right, because you kind of got it down. I was really surprised that he showed up dressed like it was July when it was February.
Also, someone with tisms might do that. Or no, actually, it's more for retarded people.
What?
Yeah. Like they'll dress. No,
fair point, Billy.
That's
fair
a
point.
that's a known thing. If you have
if
you're developmentally disabled.
If Vosh had the other kind, he'd have shown up to the podcast in like a tuxedo.
Yeah, if
I
you're
feel like
developmentally
Vosh is like the
disabled,
type-
you. Oh, sorry.
I feel like he communicates so consistently between all forms of communication. He constantly talks as if he's giving a PowerPoint presentation at at a business, as if he's like in front of the sales on the transmitters are up 3%. This is making me quite ecstatic. I'm quite happy, as you can see. I'm excited.
I'm thrilled with these projections.
I'm thrilled with these projections of our future business and success. We are moving forward in this business to see more inclusion and sincerity through our practice. He'll talk like that all the time. I imagine it's like him dirty talking must sound like a PowerPoint presentation.
From experience, yes.
From experience.
Yeah.
From experience.
Post podcast got wild.
I think that you are a dirty slut and you want my penis. I think you might want to indulge yourself.
For just a second, you turned into Obama. You
You're just a second. He is kind of like an autistic white Obama.
I mean, that's what I've been calling him for some time.
But the thing is, it's like, I don't know, it's like, I would want you to indulge yourself in the lustful experience of my appendage. That's the way I imagine he dirty talks. I don't know.
Yeah, no, I've heard him dirty talk, haven't I? Didn't we do a sex thing with Vosh? Was that us?
What?
Didn't we do
Was that us, or was that a beautiful dream?
Oh, do tell.
Didn't we do that sex thing with Vosh? Was that us?
Which sex thing?
With
I think
Vosh?
that might not have been us.
Saying which sex thing only layers it further.
Right?
Well,
Yeah.
you know,
Of
you
all the
forget.
sex things we did.
I remember
with
there was
Vosh.
that banquet hall and they had a vomitorium. Pretty sure Vosh and we all went in and they had like this delicious chicken dish. And we all ate the chicken dish and then we had sex and started puking up everywhere.
It was like a Roman banquet, is what you're saying.
A bacchanal.
It was like that scene from the Monty Python where the guy just like inflates until he like pukes everywhere and explodes.
Yeah, I was like,
Well, that's based on Billy's life.
yeah, we had a fucking gravy bed we were laying in.
Oh. What brand of gravy?
It was
Knorr's, the best.
Knorr's.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had. I was like, I thought when you said brand of gravy, I thought you meant like flavor. Like I thought.
That's not a brand, asshole. We're talking brands. We're
I
talking corporations. We're talking
don't
capitalism.
buy branded gravy.
Well,
Somebody
that's your
say,
loss.
Dylan, at what point is this just ableism? Okay, you don't understand. He has more subscribers than me. Therefore, I can be able.
You can punch up to an autistic.
Yeah,
person.
exactly. That's
Yeah.
why it's okay if you say a slur to somebody who has more subs than you.
Yeah. That's why I can call.
That's why
Obama
if you
what
call
I
me
him.
the F slur in my chat, you will not get banned if you call me an F slur. No, that's not true.
That's not true.
Not true, Twitch. That's not true. That is not allowed.
And
Let's
this
test
is. It's not really ableism if everybody's able to take a joke.
Exactly.
If Vosh wasn't able to take a joke, I would never say any of this about Vosh. I think he's a sweet
He's a sweet boy.
He's a sweet papa.
Yeah.
I did.
There's no ableism if nobody acts like a baby.
I don't know. Vosh seems like the type of guy to put on a suit to jerk off. I don't know, man. It feels like it's just the way he presents himself.
Tiger Woods did that.
He wouldn't even put pants on to hang out. But I agree.
I was gonna say he wouldn't even put on
That
long
is
pants in the
true.
winter to
That
see
is
us.
the thing is he will be talking in the most like organized, like really like. Yes, this is quite strange, and he's like that constantly. But he'll always just be wearing like a wife beater and like in shorts, like just like basketball shorts. But he'll like be speaking as if he's like has a monocle on and a pipe. It's bizarre. I remember I went shopping with him in this big market after this conference we went to in Texas. No, it was I forget. I think it was like Alabama or some. It was some flyover state piece of shit. Which is all of the middle of the country.
Which is
kidding.
really a lot of states.
I'm kidding. It was Tennessee. We went to Fear Fest, and afterwards we went to like this outdoor kind of like shop, right? It was like a big farmers market kind of, but they were just selling all types of knickknacks. I actually got this ring I'm wearing right here, which has some space rock in it. I thought it was really cool. I bought like a battle axe there. There was like so many cool things, like a homemade custom battle axe. It's an actual Smith made. His ass passes all of that, these huge ornate things, the jewelry, the battle axes, and he just goes to a booth that's selling orbs. And when I say that, I mean they're literally just orbs. He is I might have the picture on my phone. Actually, never before seen picture.
Oh,
okay.
Is this exclusive?
This is an exclusive, okay?
Oh my God.
Of him orb shopping. He passes everything. Like people were selling like gold fucking like jewelry and gemstones and like battle axes and swords and fucking like cannonballs that fell off of battleships and shit. And he just goes to this table of wooden orbs and he's just like looking at this orbs for like a good 15-20 minutes, right? Oh my gosh, I gotta find this picture because now that I remembered that this is a real thing that happened, I'm determined to like
I want to see this orb shopping trip.
This orb shopping trip. It is the best picture of Vosh. 1 second. Where is it? Here it is. Okay,
all right.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Where should I send it to?
You can send it to me on Twitter or the Skype chat. Either way.
Okay. So just direct message Drunken Peasants. There you go. Here's the orb picture. Okay. Here's the orb picture. Bring it up on the street. It's just dude. It's the most.
You sent it on Twitter?
Yeah, I sent it on DM.
I'm excited for how excited you are.
I know.
I don't know why. I just don't know why out of everything at this market.
Why don't I have it yet?
It's still sending. It's still sending.
Okay.
I'm in Ukraine. The internet connection out here is terrible. Hopefully it'll be able to send. But I don't know why out of everything he just fucking went for the orbs.
I think I know why.
I don't. Oh, okay.
I know why. Volsh is a mage, a wizard.
It was just 1 second. I don't know why it's the terrible internet, but it should eventually send. Hopefully.
Yeah, no problem.
We're going to the orb shop.
So many teases on this show. Billy's great joke, the orb picture.
It's the anticipation is killing me.
It's a series of cliffhangers.
It is a series of cliffhangers.
You know, by the way, Good Mythical Morning did a Chipotle versus Qdoba taste test video. It's very interesting.
It is trash.
Because they said Qdoba's better.
Well, it was trash because they didn't do any...
Because they didn't agree with you.
They didn't do any ingredient.
Right?
No, they did agree with me. They said the chicken and the meat was way better. The chicken and the steak was way better from Chipotle. They didn't. They had like guacamole on one thing, and it was hidden in a bunch of other stuff. I'm just pointing out the facts.
Okay.
And these boys didn't say it was all set up shill to try to get a Qdoba sponsorship.
Sure.
It is trash.
You know what I noticed? The Seattle airport has all Qdobas and no Chipotles.
Mm-hmm.
It's like like Qdoba's like the official burrito joint.
Of the airport?
Of the airport.
Well, good for Qdoba. They should put that one in their fucking winning column.
I mean,
that and
they're
Good
gonna
Mythical
get tired.
Morning.
They're going to get tired of winning
gave
eventually.
Them points. they can get tired of winning.
Take your cookie cutter Mickey Mouse Chipotle.
They can get
stuff.
tired of winning when they
we'll
have
be here on the Qdoba Underground.
when they
baby.
have more than a fraction of the venues that Chipotle has. Chipotle's serving over 3,000.
Popularity. All Billy the Bridge cares about is popularity.
Restaurants. Not just popularity. I want to talk about ingredients and the quality of ingredients.
Qdoba for
People are asking if Vosh bought the orb. He did buy the orb.
Of course he bought the orb.
He
What
bought
kind of
the
question
orb.
is that?
I can show this. 1 second. Maybe I can show this on screen. There is him orb shopping. He's just orb shopping.
Take me to the orb shop.
There's no purpose for the orbs. They're just orbs. That's the only thing he bought at the entire. This thing was there was at least like 100 stalls. This is the only thing he bought.
Is it culturally
Best thing there.
insensitive for me to suggest that Volsh looks like the Planters peanut guy cosplaying as Seth Rogen?
I think that's so
That's a very
insane that nobody
specific-
can get mad at it.
That's a very specific description.
You mean like Mr. Peanut?
Yeah, Mr. Peanut.
He doesn't have the top hat and the monocle.
Yeah, he's the Planters peanut guy cosplaying as Seth Rogen. I don't know.
He's wearing a Rogan suit.
I feel like that might be culturally insensitive for me to say.
I think it is.
To peanuts?
Maybe like
I
slightly.
I don't know. If you have a peanut allergy, I'm not sure. Did we get that orb thing?
No.
It's still sending. It's still sending. Man.
Do you think
It's
the
internet
Do you
out
think
here.
the orb that he bought was a protection orb to keep that picture from sending over the internet?
Oh,
maybe
thinking ahead.
maybe. And he like really was very particular about the orb selection too. Like I saw him like bring down his glasses and like push them up and like look at every orb
Hey.
like with such
well, you
detail.
can't
and
just
such-
buy any orb.
Why do I
You
feel
can't just
like
buy any orb. He went through every fucking.
Yeah,
orb.
he did. That's my guy right there.
Why do I feel like Vosh is the type of motherfucker to carry a potion on him?
Vosh the type of motherfucker to take a suitcase to school.
It'd be a teleportation potion.
For
He throws
real.
it on the ground and he teleports.
This motherfucker's tasted gummy berry juice,
I feel
and
like
I
he's
know
the
it.
type of. I feel like he's the type of guy that before a fight he's gonna stand there and like scream for a minute. He says, "Okay, I'm powered up now," and then
Yeah. Yeah, we actually almost saw him get into a fight at the meetup, and he kept fucking clacking his wrists together. Like, what the fuck is he doing? Guess he was powering up some fucking.
I do that.
Oh, you do the wrist thing too?
So what I do is when I get excited, and it could be for anything. It could be I'm angry about the fight. By the way, it finally sent. I could be angry, about to get in a fight, excited. It could be I'm just like happy, excited. What I'll do is I'll either hit my leg or I'll go like this, and it's completely involuntary almost. It's like I'd have to concentrate to stop myself from doing it, and it got so bad that if I don't cut my fingernails, I'll actually cut the inside of my hand because I do it so forcefully.
Oh no!
It's like I think it's a tick. I don't know exactly what it is, but I do the same thing. When I get excited, I start like doing like this thing. Yeah, I do the same exact thing. Actually, I can relate with him on that.
I don't remember him doing that.
I might have made that up.
Oh, okay.
So you just reeled out my possible.
I just happened to figure out your.
Here it is.
Yes.
Here's the orb photo.
Now those are orbs.
No, those are good orbs. That's good orbing time. Good
And they're made out of wood?
Yeah, they're made out of wood.
Huh.
They're like
Oh,
little planets, I think.
Those are cool little planet orbs.
That is cool, actually. But he only bought one?
I think he bought like 3.
Okay. Do you know which
He went
planets
through
they
them
were?
all. I think he bought a purple one, and I think he bought a gray one. So the gray one you see in his hand, and the purple one on the desk. And he got the stands for them too, of course.
Of course he did. You don't get an orb and no stand. That's ridiculous. They'll be rolling all over the place.
Yeah, exactly. They'll be orbing.
Yeah, it's orbing time.
It's orbing time.
God, he was fun to hang out with. He was fun to hang out with. It was me, him, and my ex.
Yeah, he's a chill cat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good hang.
It's funny because he's lived around us for years now, like 3 or 4 years, and we've only hung out with him twice.
He had to make sure we weren't Nazis
Dude.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to like. I want to collab with more people, but it's hard for me to collab with people because like the stuff I want to do is like I remember this messaging people like, "Hey, you want to go to Ukraine with me?" And like everybody like, "Dylan, are you fucking crazy?" Like,
No.
I can't convince people to. Yeah, they're like, "No, of course not. You fucking moron."
Hey,
like,
Dylan.
you can't get
Yeah,
people
like,
to do.
Can't we go to
Like, if you guys
Amsterdam
know
instead?
if you guys know anybody who wants to go to Syria, okay, please tell me.
Dylan, you want to go?
I'll ask around.
You want to go to North Korea with me?
Dude, yeah, want to do it?
If I could get in.
He doesn't even have a passport.
Yeah, I gotta get a passport first.
He's been trying to get a passport for like 5 years.
Let me see if I can get a
There's
passport
always a
so
new
we can go to
reason.
North Korea.
There's always a new
I'll go to
reason
North Korea.
that's not
It might
his
be a
fault why
problem.
he doesn't
So
have one.
You have to go to North Korea. You got to join this like North Korean American Friendship Agency thing that the North Koreans set up. And I'm worried that because I've said like some pretty offensive things about their leadership in the past, that they might not let me in. Wait, I think you would probably have a clean bill of health on that one.
I feel like I've said some crazy shit about everything, but I've definitely been pro Kim Jong-un on many occasions.
That's true. That's the one thing you've been consistent on.
You know why? He's the only fat North Korean. And Billy has a fat bias.
That's true.
I'm a big fan of Dennis Rodman, so if he says he's a good guy,
big Dennis Rodman guy, big.
Did
Steven
you ever
Seagal
hear?
guy.
You know the story about WCW in North Korea?
Yeah.
One of the funniest. One of the weird. This isn't funny. This is actually sad.
Yeah.
One of the weirdest things is how the like it was like what 110,000 people. They were
more, I think. Like
they were
140 or something
stunned.
crazy.
It was a crazy amount. It was like the largest wrestling event in history.
Yeah.
They were surprised by how big they were because they just never saw people that large.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the diet, because they just have a completely different diet over there.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fats, protein,
steroids,
where they have nothing.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Kim Jong-un eats all the food and
All of
starves
the food.
everybody.
yeah, it was 130,000 people in the seats, but it could only fit 40,000 Americans
Yeah,
Yeah.
that conversion checks out.
because we're all so terribly fat in America
Oh.
because of our diets.
COVID has made me lose 10 pounds, though. I lost 10 pounds in a week just from having COVID.
I also lost 10 pounds in a week.
Weight loss over here, being over here and weight loss is the weirdest thing in the world. I see people like lose weight so quickly while they're over here. I know that I've lost weight. I have no clue how much weight I've lost.
Did you catch an extra vein on your dick though?
An extra what?
Yeah, like where you start to get like
You count every vein on your dick?
Yeah.
Okay.
You know
Well,
when you
that's a
get an
whole new
extra
can of
one, when you got like a gnarly purple fucking bone marrow spur coming through.
What?
You know.
I don't
No,
know.
I
He's trying too hard now.
No, it has. No, I haven't. No, I
You
haven't.
should-
I
you
might
should
get
keep
some
checking
once-
down there.
I want to go to Chernobyl, so I might get it then.
Yeah. Chernobyl, you might get some gills on your schwanz. Be careful.
I want to go to Chernobyl. Dude, if you want good React content for the show, I have some amazing React content where these like Ukrainian rednecks go diving in the Ukrainian nuclear power reactor. Like
Oh
they
my
go
God.
like swimming
Jesus
in it.
Christ.
That's
They go
strange.
scuba diving in it. It's great.
That's wild, actually.
Yeah.
It's great. They're like huge Ukrainian media stars because they're like the big vloggers in like Ukraine, and I actually know somebody who knows them, so I'm trying to see if I can get in contact with them. But, dude, I gotta send you these guys. These guys are actually incredible. In fact, if you just look up scuba diving Chernobyl, it should come up.
There won't be that many, I don't think.
No, there isn't. No, and like the second video in the series, like one of the dudes just lost all of his hair, and I'm trying to figure out what happened there.
Should have wore a fucking diving cap.
There's like an English version of it that I think should pop up since you're all a bunch of English speakers.
Yeah, I think this might be it here. We'll throw this in here and see what happens. I gotta mute a few other.
You gotta skip like midway through because it's like most of it's just them hanging out in Chernobyl before they try to scuba dive in it, and they mess it up so bad. This is best React content in the world. I love this shit.
I like how Chernobyl's decorated like a Chipotle.
Are they?
When they got caught by the cops, I forget exactly. And the cops are just literally like, "What the fuck are you doing? Why?"
They're like, well, you know, we were gonna buy orbs, but this fucking Planter's
looking for
Peanut
orbs,
motherfucker bought them all. So we had to
Vosh
jump
bought all
into
the oil.
Chernobyl.
We should get Vosh to scuba dive in Chernobyl.
Is he a strong swimmer?
Probably.
I would hope so.
He could use his orbs to weigh him down, kind of like they were using the stank cheese.
There's scuba diving parks around here.
I think Vosh is just a buoyant person.
Yeah.
Like a lot of buoyancy.
Nobody's as buoyant as I
Very
am.
Low density.
Low density, yeah.
I'm sweet buoyant.
I feel like Vosh swimming would kind of be like, you know how you see dinghies out in like the jaw, like a dinghy, he's just standing up straight like this, just kind of like floating, popping in and out of the water.
Yeah, that's got to be
what I would
it.
imagine. Okay, so I've been going for about 3 hours now with you guys, so I think I might have to tap out.
All right,
Yeah,
it is.
We're gonna
it is
wrap
More
up
than
here
fair.
too.
It's like
08
7 a.m.
Yeah, it's 7 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you guys having me on.
No, thank you for coming on. It's great to catch up with you. We've been watching for a while, everything you've been doing, and it's nice to know that, even if you don't have a time to come home, that you're starting to at least reconnect and get some of home back in your schedule at least. I'm excited to see what you do next.
Yeah, I need to make money to survive.
Get that money.
That's a big reason. I need to stream because I need to make money, right?
Yeah.
Because this shit's expensive. I've spent like at least $20,000 to $30,000.
Yeah, I can
on all this
imagine.
shit.
Yeah.
Are you
Crazy
covering the
stuff.
entire crew, or is that something that?
I pay everything out of pocket. Everything has been paid by me.
Yeah.
Everything.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, everybody.
Yep.
Keep an eye out. Keep an eye on Dylan. He's keeping it going. Fuck.
Yeah. Any donations, subs, anything you can throw my way. I mean, it's gonna go to this. I got nothing else to throw it at. Okay.
Yeah.
You're gonna pay for my potats and my fucking borscht and keep me alive. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. You can find me at Dylan Burns TV on YouTube, where I'm gonna be posting, hopefully in the near future, footage from me on the front lines. That's DYLAN BURNS TV. You can also find me with that handle on Twitch and on Twitter. It's Dylan Burns 1776. That's DYLAN BURNS 1776. You can also support me by bullying Billy.
Yeah, you could try. You could try.
That's a move.
Don't make me pick sides here, Dylan. If you send your kids after me, I'm gonna call it Vladimir.
You gonna go Vlad?
I'll make you some poutine, Papa.
there are legitimately people constantly trying to get my coordinates and send it to the Russian
It's so
embassy.
fucked up.
Jesus. It is
No.
so bad. They really don't. They don't like me, man.
That's so fucked. We want you safe and sound, and we can't wait for your return home, just so we know that you can move on to the next big project. But I'm glad you're working on this one. It's an interesting and important venture.
Thank you, man. You guys have a good one, okay?
You too. Good
Good to
night.
see you, Dylan.
Be safe. Nice to meet you.
All right. So, yeah, we'll wrap it up in a minute here.
Scott,
Yo.
have you ever eaten cabbage rolls?
No, cabbage is gross.
You're such a little fucker.
Yeah, he's a picky boy, little picky boy with his.
I'm a particular gentleman about what I put inside.
Oh, that's
of
what
me.
it's called.
I'm over you hating cabbage, but I just really like cabbage rolls.
Fish is good too.
And I really like
Shellfish is fine.
I really like cabbage soup. I like kielbasa and cabbage. I like kimchi. I like sauerkraut.
I love sport peppers.
A thing that only exists on Chicago hot dogs, and you will never see in nature otherwise.
In nature,
Scott,
it's an abomination.
Scott, do you
It's
remember?
ridiculous.
Do you remember the sports dick story?
It was amp related.
Yeah, we had a friend named Ampersand, and him and our buddy Steve were running around naked to fuck around with a friend of ours. They were gonna knock
Like a
on his
couple of
door.
cool straight guys.
Yeah, they're gonna knock on our friend's door naked as a joke, and Ampersand explained his any penis as sports dick.
Yeah.
He was like, "Yeah, I got it." I was like, "What the fuck is going on
sports
there?"
pecker.
He's like, "I got sports dick." Like, what the fuck is sports dick? He's like, it's
like he said it like it was the most matter of fact thing in the world.
yeah, like everybody had sports dick before, and I'm like, I never heard of sports dick because he had an any penis.
It's a sports pecker
because his penis went inside.
1 inch penis.
Yeah, his penis was like inside a hole on his body, and that was, I guess, calling it sports dick was the greatest way to say that you got an any penis. Because like, well, wait a second now, sports dick. He knows something I don't know. Does Derek Jeter have one of these innies?
I doubt it.
Yeah. Is this Michael Jordan? Yeah, has Michael Jordan got one of these innies?
I doubt it.
Maybe he do.
Is Tiger Woods got a little fucking hobbit hole?
Mike
where his
Tyson
dick
definitely.
should be?
Mike Tyson definitely. Yeah.
Mike Tyson's got that sports dick.
Mia Hamm.
Mia Hamm?
Sports dick.
I've seen China's sports dick.
Now that's a sports dick.
China's got sports dick.
Absolutely.
Rest in peace, Joni Laurer.
No.
We lost her.
R.I.P.
Too soon.
Ampersimp as Pimp Monk? No, it's not the same. It's not the same.
I got COVID dick.
COVID dick?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Does that mean that...
It's
I
always
honestly
hard.
feel like my dick was smaller during COVID. Like my dick sucked during COVID.
My dick sucked during COVID.
I was never happy about my dick during the entire time I had COVID.
How long did your COVID last?
5 days.
Huh. Yeah, I don't think I've ever went 5 days without being impressed by my dick. So,
It's the longest I've gone for sure.
that sucks.
Yeah, it was very sad.
Hey, what you got to say, sports dick?
Did Dylan raid Adam? Yeah, he did. Over on Twitch.
Hey.
Twitch.
Yeah.
Scott.
He's over there telling Adam I'm an anti-Semite, and he's only half right, which is very unfair. But you had a question, Billy?
Scott.
What's that?
What's your birthday going to be like this year?
I don't know, but it's coming up pretty soon, guys. July 13th.
It's
less
coming up
than
real
2 weeks
close.
away. It's my Sweet 16. I'm pretty excited. I'm going to do it big. I'm going to rent a pink stretch limo. It's going to be great.
What are you doing tomorrow for the holiday?
You literally just reminded me it's the holiday tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm golfing tomorrow.
Oh,
so
okay.
that's what I'm doing.
Good weather.
Like a good white man.
Golf.
Yeah.
I'm not a golfer.
Yeah.
Not with that attitude.
I did the Top Flight golf thing in Vegas, and
it was an abomination.
I
saw the video.
I'm not good
You
at
hit
all.
it. You hit it with
not
one.
good?
You hit it with one arm. You
I love
one
a one
arms. Yeah. Yeah. I went to Top Golf for the first time with Scott, and I had a problem with hitting the ground before I would hit the ball. So then I went again later on when I went to Vegas, and I learned how to prevent that.
It was better. And even in Chicago, you like improved as the day went on.
Yeah.
You just like hadn't swung a club in a long time,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
understandable.
I had some crazy sore muscles too, because you don't normally use those that
You're
set
not
of
using those muscles that often besides golfing.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I felt pretty hit up. I remember we tried to play like an actual course. I could not even like. I don't.
Yeah, you're like, oh, we should have found a course with shorter holes.
Yeah, yeah. Because I would just hit it like off the fucking thing. Oh God.
You did post that nice video of me just fucking cranking one.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
nice.
that
I
was
got a lot of
crazy.
pussy out of that video, so I appreciate it.
Damn.
A lot of golf pussy.
Golf pussy? What is that like? What's golf pussy?
It's mostly lesbians.
All right.
Mostly stocky
Navratilova.
lesbians.
I think she's a tennis player.
Shit.
Yeah.
That's how much I know about golf.
You're
Is
thinking Annika Sorenstam.
the hottest golfers are tennis players.
No, now
True.
Now there are like a lot of attractive golfers these days.
Yeah, but they're all 14-year-old Koreans, so you got to
Are
be
they?
careful. Yeah.
Look, if I was a 14-year-old Korean, I'd be good at golf too.
I thought you were gonna say if I was a 14-year-old Korean, I'd fuck you. And you know what? I appreciate that.
Whoa. I'll dial it back and say that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
It's what was the one's name?
Oksana Bayul.
Could be Oksana Bayul.
Oksana Bayul was a figure skater.
True.
Yeah. Well, we don't know what you're talking about. All you said was what was the one. We don't know where you're going with this.
I thought maybe we were talking about.
There was some like female golfer that got really famous, but I don't even know if she. I know she played as a pro, but
Roseanne Arnold Palmer.
This one, I can't remember her name.
Oh, look at the tits on this fucking female component.
Yeah.
Paige Spiranek?
Paige
Yeah.
Spiranek.
Yeah. I know she's
actually
played.
recognize the name, but she cute.
I know she's played pro. I don't think she's like one of the better ones.
I feel really
What are you
bad.
on, like golfsluts.com?
I know, right? It's
just put
sportsbusiness.com, top 5 hottest female golfers.
Huh.
I
Way to
feel
go,
really
sports
bad.
business.
The first thing I immediately did was objectify her boobs. I blame it on my COVID brain, guys. I want to apologize to Paige Spiranek for the way I talked about her boobs. You're better than that. You're better than anything I've ever said because you're one of the top 5 hottest golfers, of course, according to sportsbusiness.com. And that's impressive.
Now Paige Spiranek, however you say it, it looks like a Slavic name. She's huge on Instagram.
She joined the Ukrainian army.
Lit.
All right, we are going to wrap up this show. Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you back on Saturday. Hopefully the COVIDs will have left our systems completely.
Scott, tell them what they can do.
I'll tell them what they can do. They can go fuck themselves is what they can do. But what they can also do is follow me on Twitter at @NotScottHenson, NOTSCOTTHENSON, and also PayPal.me / the same thing, Not Scott Henson. PayPal.me / Not Scott Henson. And go ahead and listen to, especially this coming Tuesday, the podcast, The Worst Year of Our Lives, where we will be, and this is breaking news, reviewing Half Baked, the 1998 classic, and doing a weed ourselves.
Whoa.
For both of us, the first time in years.
Whoa.
So it's going to be very fun.
What's wrong with you?
Crazy.
You doing a full baked, half baked?
Doing full baked, half baked. Can you believe it?
What?
It's going to be crazy.
About to have twice baked potatoes.
We're going to be a couple of twice baked potatoes by the end of it.
For real.
It's going to be awesome.
Check it out Tuesday.
Good night, everybody.
Nighties.
In the beginning, there was nothing. And then there was the Drunken Peasants Podcast.
Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. From the strangest corners of the internet, gonna get TP'd by Billy and Ben. You know where you can find them at. Get ready, cause they're gonna kick your... Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants. Drunken Peasants.